What's up, scallywags? What's up, nutmeggers, conversationalists, and all of you all across the fruited plain? I got to fix my thing here. I didn't realize that I wasn't even ready yet. It's Reese on the radio right here live on WTIC NewsTalk 1080. I realized I had everything else prepared for the show except for this. And, of course, it's another Red Sox Wednesday. On Reese on the radio, but nonetheless, we came prepared. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into. Reese on the radio, of course, was at the press conference for Representative John Larson today. Got an opportunity to talk to him a little bit. He made a little bit of news about our 13 articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. I got to ask him about that. It's an interesting thing with these folks in the news media. I don't want to be that guy who has to push back on people, but I feel like I have to because I know what's going to happen. I feel it in my bones. What's going to happen if I don't say anything? Someone's going to feel entitled. And I'm not a bully unless I'm made to be one. I'm not here to bully people. I'm not even here to do this isn't a competition with me. The competing thing happens on its own. And that's just the way that it is, and I accept it. I am not pushing back against it. I wish it didn't have to be that way. I understand. I even go so far as to give professional courtesies. But never cut me. I'll get into that later. Because I feel like it's gotta happen. Someone said something to someone else and I had to, and I feel like I've got to deal with this. I don't think I should deal with it on air. I think I just need to deal with it one-on-one. I'm not trying to turn this into a public thing because then it's just bullying for the sake of bullying, and I don't need to do that. Let me just say to you, those of you who listen to this program, a lot of people are not delighted that I'm on the ground. They're not, and they shouldn't be. This isn't about making them feel better about themselves. That's not the job. It never has been the job. The job is supposed to be holding the powerful to account. That's what it's going to be. If you are in power and you are abusing it, someone must check you. And they must do it without fear or favor. I don't care what the atmosphere is around here. I don't give two damns about what you're used to. If what you're used to is not good to the people who you're supposed to serve, my job is to hold you accountable if no one else will. So you're going to just have to deal with that. Or allow me to sit back where I don't have to do the job because you are knocking it out of the park. Make my job easier. Say to me, Reese, don't worry, buddy. I hear you. I got you. I've been here long enough. I know who the players are. We got you. You don't. You don't have us. You're not looking out for us. And we're seeing it. I saw a reporter today. I'm not going to say his name. He was there at the press conference. And he was quite chummy. Yeah, there was a lot of butt patting. That's what I call it. Butt patting, patting each other on the rear end. Hey, buddy, good job, good job, good job. It's a press conference. Hey, buddy, good job, good job, good job. Loving one another. and again, it blows my mind. I don't have to go on there. I need to tell kind of an origin story here. Since we're online, I could do this today. And I hope you are. WTIC.com, ReeseOnTheRadio.com if you want to watch. Red Sox game is on. I know there's no score, but we'll be keeping track of it if you want to do both. We'll try to give you a taste of all of that. I also want to talk about UConn losing the national title. I didn't get into that yesterday. I need to today. But kind of an origin story. I've dealt with bullies throughout my childhood. And when I was a kid, bullies really, really ruled the roost, as they did anywhere else in Main Street, USA. But my personal story about bullies, I had one. And his name was Cornflake. Not Corn Pop like Joe Biden, Cornflake. His real name was James. Do you know my entire life I never knew his real name? He was always Cornflake to me. I never knew his real name. And he bullied me, for years. For the better part, I want to say, junior high school, well into like my second year of being homeless. So I'm like 17 years old. This guy bullied me. So I want to say from like 12, 13 till I was 17. And whenever this guy was around, he always chose when he was going to bully me. He held all the cards. Some days, hey, Reese, how you doing? Other days, bad mood, I'm going to kick your ass. That's what he was like. He was temperamental. Sometimes he wasn't in the mood. He was like a benevolent king sometimes. Would see me there, and he would even tell me, don't run, you don't have to run. I'm not here for you. And I would be in the clear, and I would go, okay. And he wouldn't bother me. But another day, absolutely, whenever he was in the mood, he'd just look at me and say, yeah, I'm picking on you today. I remember that vividly. Thank goodness I didn't have to go to therapy for it. But Cornflake, he will always sit with me for the rest of my life. Because he molded me. He made me understand fear. My own. Not everybody else's, my own. He really brought it out of me. And the worst part about that fear is, as I told you earlier, when he decided to be benevolent, he controlled it. He controlled my fear whenever he wanted to. He could tell me, be afraid, or don't be today. You can bank on someone with that kind of power using it in any way he wants to. You're a cat toy to him. And when I see bullying, because I recognize it so well, I react to it. It is almost like a twitch. When I see it, I'm like, whoa, it brings me back. And it's fight or flight. And for years, I ran. I ran like the Dickens. I had one of those origin stories where I ran so much from Cornflake and his rabble-rousers, I should have joined the track team as a result and become a gold medalist. It was that kind of story. I was always running with, we're talking about a troop of men, young men running behind me as I ran through the neighborhood. They all knew. Not one person ever stepped up for me. One guy running away from 3, 4, 5, sometimes 7 guys. And if they caught me, all I could do was get myself in the fetal position while they punched and they kicked me until they were done. They weren't there to kill me. They were there to just beat up on me. And I would get up off the ground, dirty, bloody, scarred, and they would let me walk away. And then maybe a week later, it happened again. So when somebody I know is using their power, and using their power in a very, very bad way, I get my back up about it. When I got old enough and I was no longer afraid because I had a young son to protect when I was 22 years old, was married for the first time, and I would see some of these people who really, really wanted to take advantage of the weak. It was the first time I ever had to swing on a guy and knock him out. And it was in that moment, protecting my son, that I was done. Because it was no longer about me. I could take the hits. I could take the swings. I could take the kicks. But I had a young son and I had a family, and I wasn't going to do that. It's like, I'm done with being afraid. And I would see somebody who would bully people and sort of had that ability to just not care and instill fear in people. And I decided one day, I got to knock you out. I got to knock your teeth into the ground. And I did. And in that moment, I could have decided that that's it. I'm just knocking out everybody. No, I didn't. I just understood I wasn't going to take it anymore. But I also understood that this was different as an adult, different from when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you get that kind of power. You don't know what you're doing with it. It feels good. People are afraid of you. That's powerful. And when you're a Nimrod, a dimwit, you don't understand that kind of harm. You just know that you feel great and other people are following you, and you get to mess around with people and beat them up and treat them like dirt. You don't have the moral. You don't have any character that says to you, I feel kind of wrong about it. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Wasn't enough for me to see. I got my butt kicked often enough. But when you're an adult, in my view, you think you know better. And that was the reason why I swung on the first guy, because he knew better. That son of a gun spat in my face while I was carrying my infant son. Spat right in my face. And he thought while I carried my son in a little cradle in front of me, that I was going to do nothing about it. He had all the power. But I grabbed my son with my left hand and swung with my right. And I took that son of a gun right out on McDougal Street, right down the block from Cafe Wa and Cafe Reggio, where they filmed Carlito's Way, in fact. And that son of a gun hit the ground so fast, I was a block away by the time he reached consciousness. And there were people who ran up to me and said, he hit that guy. He hit that guy. The police officer looked me right in the face and he said, did you punch that guy? And I looked at him, looked down at my son and looked at him and I said, I'm carrying my son and that son of a gun spat in my face. Police officer said, go on about your business, buddy. And in my heart of hearts, I knew that there was just no way I could do that anymore. My life had changed, and bullies were no longer going to exist on my watch. And I was that way ever since. That was the defining moment for me. So now when I hear people are talking and asking questions like, why am I questioning the powerful? Why am I talking to John Larson? Why am I talking to Governor Lamont? Why am I asking tough questions? Why am I being aggressive? My question remains, why are you asking me and not them? Why am I the focal point? I have no power. I'm just a guy on the radio. Half of you people don't even know who I am. You never heard of me. But you seem to be awfully concerned about what I ask, who I am, where I'm from. And I think I know why. And it has everything to do with exposing you and very little to do with me. Nobody should be angry about what I'm doing. Not one person. Not if you care about the people that these individuals affect. Chris Murphy, John Larson, Matt Lesser, any of them. Martin Looney. If you care about what they do and how they affect real lives, you should have no questions about what I'm doing. None. I'm the only person. I mean, do I have to be the only person? Everyone's going to hear it. Everyone's going to see it. Really, they seem to be paying a lot of attention to the reporter guy. And again, I have nowhere near the experience half of these people do. But I seem to be the person that they're focusing the most on. Well, you want to check my credentials? I have none. I'm not qualified. You guys probably went to journalism school and broadcasting school. You guys probably have all the awards and all the accolades all over the walls in your office. You got the Emmys and the Pulitzers. You got them all. I hope that you've got everything that your heart would desire. But the fact that little old me, with none of that, would be the reason for phone calls and questions. My phone works. You want to ask something? Pick it up and call me. Got a website too. It's reeseontheradio.com. You can always give me a holler. But in the meantime, the powers that be will be questioned, no matter what happens. Whether I'm at WTIC or just at reeseontheradio.com. The fight will not stop. The questions will still be asked. And I will continue to get answers. And I see it. I see the look on people's faces. I see how angry they get. How dare he? How dare he? Who does he think he is? I'm Reese on the radio. Pleasure to meet you. I know some of you are sitting up there going, it's like, he's so damn arrogant. How can I be? I got nothing. I got nothing. I have no power. I clearly don't have the prestige that any of you do. I mean, really, really think about it. I never had. But I know, trust me, and I said this a long time ago. I tell people this, especially those who are on the left who always communicate with me. I said, you folks have made it about me. Why? I don't know. You send me emails and text messages. Here, see, look at this. Here, see, look at this. What about this, Reese? And what about that? At the same time saying I have no credibility. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm delusional. I'm crazy. I'm arrogant. You hate your people. You hate yourself. There's always this. But guess what? They're completely invested in trying to convince me otherwise or asking, what am I doing there? And my response to it is as arrogant as you think it is. It's arrogant as all of these people think it is. Can I tell you what I think of you when you do all of this? When you're running around making phone calls, when you're agitated about my presence, do you know what you're doing for me? You're doing this. For those of you listening, I'm patting myself on the back. Look at this nobody. Look at this nobody of no consequence. Just some schmo who showed up out of nowhere. And look at them all. Scrambling. Feeling some sort of way. How did I do that? With all of your prestige, with everything it is that you are. How did I do that? How did I just walk up in the place and just do that? How's that possible? How did I draw your attention from your jobs to the guy doing it. It's an incredible feat on my part. That's why I'm arrogant. That's the reason why I'm the arrogant person that you think I am. Because I managed to get you to focus on me, which I wasn't even trying to do. I was just trying to get answers. I'm here for them, the listeners, the people who live in this state. That's who I'm here representing. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe the issue is that Reese on the radio gave them a voice. Maybe all of that ignoring them has fallen short. Question is what are you going to do now? Do you think it ends? I think it gets a little hotter. It's in everybody's best interest to do the job that they're supposed to do. But if you want to make it something else, make it something else. You can. But I told you guys, I have a job to do. And it's going to get done. Like it or not. And I mean like it or not. So, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. I talked to our good friend John Larson today. We'll play some audio from that. And the Wesleyan scandal. Oh, that's ugly. John Larson. John Silva. He's got news at the bottom of the hour right here on WTIC. All right, we're back. Reese on the radio here, and thank you for indulging us today when the show is online. I know it's difficult to see exactly where the markers are, but you can always go to WTIC.com if you want to listen to it kind of with all of the elements so you don't miss any of it. But otherwise, you can just watch the show at ReeseOnTheRadio.com or go to YouTube or Facebook and X, in fact, to check out the show. We'll get into Wesleyan thing in a second, but I want to say that when I go out to these events, I already know that when people see me, they are going to go. So I go in there with that sort of understanding. I'm liked by a lot of the people. Like John Larson likes me. As soon as I see him and I go, hey, remember me? He looks at me and he goes, oh, hey. And you know, he doesn't see me a lot because, of course, he sees all the rest of the guys who are out there. They covered him for years. He's developed a relationship with them. But I'm new, and I'm a standout. It's weird for several reasons. The event that I went to today was for this group. In fact, let me get the name of the organization here. It was John Larson had gone out to deliver a check for an organization called OPP. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Our Piece of the Pie, which is an organization in the greater Hartford area, says Our Piece of the Pie provides comprehensive support services, including mentorship, goal setting, education, and job placement to the youth in greater Hartford, ages 14 to 24. And I got there, and again, most of the kids there, Black and Latino. All of the press there, white. So when I walk in as a member of the press, everybody looks at me. I'm 6'3", and I'm serious. Even like the people who are attending, right? The people who are the most famous in the room, you know, the public officials, you know, the people who run OPP, everybody knows who these people are. John Larson is there every year. So when Reese on the radio walks in, everybody looks directly in my face like, who's that guy? What's he doing here? And it's always, can we help you? And so I have to say, Reese on the radio, WTIC. Oh, welcome. And I'm a gregarious person. So when everyone looks at me like I just walked in the room and passed gas, I immediately look at them and I go, what are you staring at? I do. It's just me. Whenever I show up and everybody puts their eyes on me as soon as I walk in, I look at them, I go, what are you staring at? Like, I'm not the main event. You guys weren't even expecting me. It's like, what's all the stares? And like, we just never seen you before. Is that how you treat someone you've never seen before? You stare right into their face. I mean, literally, they're all right up in my face. I'm like, whatever. Anyway. Some people recognize me, though. They go, anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So have you guys been covering this story or understanding this story that's happening out of Wesleyan? This Wesleyan story is really fishy for several reasons. One, we really don't know who this alleged perpetrator is. And yesterday, John Silver reported that there were 19 counts of voyeurism. Well, I woke up this morning to a count of 31. It's a lot. And they all are felony voyeurism charges. What I also found out is that in November of 25, just last year, Wesleyan's newspaper did an article because there were complaints about someone recording people in this particular bathroom. Adam 12 did some deep digging, and it turns out that Wesleyan had known about this incident since the fall. As you all know, the arrest didn't happen until yesterday, if the day before. before any press release came out about it. Now, from what we understand, there's a reason why you don't get anything for the past, I want to say, 6 months in this investigation. We know that it happened sometime in the spring. We know that this student who is alleged to have done this started in September, late August, early September. He wasn't there for 2 months before he began allegedly filming females in this bathroom. Again, this all is supposed to have taken place in October. The police department there doesn't get a warrant until roughly around November, very early November. And Wesleyan's newspaper writes an article about it. Now, what is the article about? Well, it's weird because it goes in two different directions. And when I went to go read it, I went, well, wait a minute. Are they mocking what's happening at Wesleyan in the bathrooms, or are they celebrating it? Ah, here it is. I thought I had it somewhere else. It turns out that the article does both. It begins by saying that we're happy that we are a gender-inclusive campus, and our bathrooms are gender-inclusive. However, they have a problem with women's safety in this bathroom. Here's what they celebrated. The gender-neutral housing is an amazing feature of Wesleyan. Quote, we are proud to attend a school on the front lines of gender liberation. A key feature of this housing policy is the gender-neutral bathroom, which allows all students, regardless of gender, to use the same restrooms. The abstract positives of this are innumerable. We are not writing in opposition of multi-gender bathrooms. In fact, we're strongly in favor of them, they write. That's what they wrote. But then they go on to slam the bathrooms by saying that the bathrooms were never properly redesigned after Wesleyan went co-ed in 1970. Shower stalls had missing and inadequate curtains, dividers, and no floor-to-ceiling dividers. One example of an open urinal with no stall, basically a male bathroom that allowed women. They called it half-hearted, lazy attempt at gender neutrality. They said that the setup made it easy for someone to film or to reach over walls. Who did they blame? The university administrators. Quote, you are entirely liable for the recent incidents in the Nicholson residence hall bathrooms. It is because you refuse to remodel these bathrooms to livable multi-gender standards that students are in this dangerous position. They demanded full floor-to-ceiling doors and dividers immediately, but still insisted the gender-neutral model itself is great if done right. And this, they said that this ran after an October 22nd, 2025 camera and shower report in the Nicholson Hall. The exact incidents police would later tie to this voyeurism ring. So that's the reason why they wrote the article. And they stand by the ideology, but even acknowledge that it wasn't a safe space for girls. Now, my question is we don't see an arrest until the week of spring break? Even though a warrant was issued sometime around November? I have a theory. And I think this theory matters. The individual is a black male. The alleged individual is a black male. He's from Coney Island. He went to school in Manhattan. According to the information we have, I believe it's understood that it was a very, very prestigious school in Manhattan. Tuition's as much as $60,000 a year. We also found him, if you could believe this, there was an article where the young man was featured at age 4 in the New York Times. We saw that too. We ran the name. That's how we found it. But this may have been DEI, gender studies, leftist liberalism run amok. And an effort by Wesleyan, maybe even the police department or the faculty to stay out of the headlines. Because this would be used as a template issue of how stupid these ideas are and how dangerous they are to women and young girls. And so to treat this, and I almost feel like the media is, they're just treating it like some run-of-the-mill voyeurism case. They're just saying, the arrest was made in this case, not understanding everything that went behind it. And everything we're looking into really appears like there was a cover-up. And when I say cover-up, in the sense of not drawing attention to how this gender ideology put women at risk. Now, I'm willing to bet that this story has legs, at least in a sort of a civil litigation issue. Not that I believe that the media is going to cover it, but I do believe that that's what's going to happen. It is the only response to this. If 19 victims came forward, if this article serves as, at least in their case, as a reason to believe that the faculty was trying so hard to be as woke as possible, that they ended up doing this, that they ended up putting these women at risk, I couldn't imagine a family that didn't sue. Because now I would almost expect the people at Wesleyan to find a way, hey, can we settle this? We'll give them free tuition, anything, just to keep it out of that space. Right? Because, again, who wouldn't take this story and run with it? Who wouldn't? It would put it's Wesleyan. It would put them on it would be a national story, without a doubt. It would be a national story. And it would fly right in the face of the culture wars. And there would be people here in Connecticut who would be made to respond to it. You know, they would ask Chris Murphy. They'd have to. Who wouldn't? Didn't Chris Murphy say, hey, I have sons. I don't think about boys in girls' sports. He'd have to answer this. This is men and women's spaces. How would he not? Every politician in Connecticut would have to be asked about this if it had legs. I don't know. Look, I'm a little more concerned about the welfare of those who are victims. On the other side, I'm also concerned about people who would protect not just the school and its recklessness, but protect wokeism so much that they would sweep this under the rug and everybody just go, shh, don't do anything. Don't, just let it go away. We'll clean this up in-house. I think, in my view, there's a likelihood that that's going to happen. All because you changed the sign on the door doesn't make it right. And that was crazy, Ned. Ned makes a very, very good point. There was an organization in 2013. This is another element, Ned. Thank you for bringing that up. In 2013, there was this organization that was, I guess they were some group of I don't know, I don't want to say transgender supporters or something along those lines. And they had demanded that Wesleyan get rid of this sort of traditional separation of sexes. Let's just put it like that. In 2013. And they had gone in and torn down the signs of the place, you know, that said men or women or whatever the case may have been. And instead of fighting back, Wesleyan caved. Because naturally they have to under those circumstances. You remember what it was like during the whole anti-Semitism cases at Columbia and NYU. What did we see, right? We saw every one of these officials not only acquiesce, but in some cases join these rabble-rousers in denouncing Benjamin Netanyahu, the state of Israel, you know, chanting from the river to the sea. The same cases here in the gender roles. Faculty will join right up with these people, the activists. Some of them even, not even so much as joining in, but inciting them. And this is what you get. And the people who need to be protected, what do? We know that these young women are afraid to speak up. They're told that they can't. You'll ask them a question on campus. I saw Campus Reform asking girls on campus those questions, and the girls would be like, no, I can't. I can't talk about that. It's like, can you defend girls or women? I'm not. I don't want to answer that. Can you imagine? Every time I watched a video like that, I said to myself, that's impossible. It's impossible to believe that, excuse me, years and years of feminism where women were not only unafraid to speak up on their own behalf, they demanded you listen to them. I'm sure you all remember that. Where women were like, we need a place at the table. We will be heard. I will not be ignored. And then being asked about safe spaces for women, and then women going, yeah, I can't talk about that. No. Will you at least defend yourself, your biological women? It's like, no, I can't do that. I just can't. And it was wild. It's crazy. It's hard to believe that women, after all of that I witnessed for years, would end up taking a knee to men. Complete reversal on what the whole thing was about. Like, and here's the crazy part, and I should have seen it a long time ago. What was that whole thing about, right? What were they trying to get rid of? What were the feminists trying to destroy? It wasn't just, male dominance, but it was also machismo, right? What was a traditional man? Those things had to be completely cut down. Women needed to ascend, men needed to kneel. And it turns out the thing that would make feminists back away were if men feminized. That's all it took. That women, in order to get them, and I know a lot of you were out there, how do we get these women to just shut up? And turns out, put on a dress. Sounds crazy. But that's what happened. Some guy said, I think I've got an idea. Yeah, I'm going to put on this pencil skirt. That'll learn them. And sure enough, these men got out there and said, I'm just as much women as you. I'm just as much of a woman. And ladies went, all right, back off, sister. We're with you. It's insane, but that's where we are. It's insane. But back to the whole point about Wesleyan. Again, we'll keep an eye on this. This is something we're going to watch. And we're trying to talk to the people who wrote the article. What's it called? The Wesleyan Argus? Is that the name of this paper? Yeah, the Wesleyan Argus. I guess that's how you pronounce it. We're going to see if we could get the writers of that article on the show. So if they could defend this whole gender neutral nonsense, figure out where that's going. In human bondage, fear is the key. Ooh. Wow, Ned. That's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah. Probably a video got out and a victim filed a police report and now it's out. Yeah, well, one woman, one young lady, I don't know, a woman or young lady, but I believe it was a young lady. She actually found a device filming her. That's the only reason why the police found out about it at all. And through that investigation led them to the alleged perpetrator. A warrant was issued and then they found all of the evidence, according to the reports. That's how we got there. Sparky says the Wesleyan student shouldn't get privacy. Did the girls the Wesleyan students shouldn't get privacy. Did the girls he filmed get their privacy? Absolutely not. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's what happened here. Is that I think there was this long process of litigation between maybe the campus police, maybe even the Middletown police, the faculty, the perpetrator's family, maybe well-connected. I can only think if indeed he went to this school in Manhattan at $60,000 a year, his parents must have been, let's just say, affluent. And I believe there was this effort to keep this as minimal as possible. I mean, the press release comes out. But again, when I saw the story, I just went, FSB shows the picture of the young man. We find out the name of the young man, and then we dig a little deeper, and then we find all of this out. So there's something about this that's suspicious. And I want to thank Adam 12 for finding that November 5th article. November 4th, actually. November 4th article. Because that's what gets us to where we are today. And again, according to this all started with an October 22nd camera and shower report at Nicholson Hall. And then because of that, we got the November 4th report on the whole deal. So we're looking at 6 months now. Maybe just, yeah. So November 4th, October 22nd, November 4th. Yeah. Wow. It's happened just about the time I got into town. That's a long time ago. It's a long time ago. Yeah, we're looking at just under 6 months. They held this out. So, I don't know. Like I said, as more developments come, we'll get to the bottom of it. When we return, John Larson files articles of impeachment. This audio that I'm about to play for you will blow your mind. It will. It will definitely blow your mind. Of me and John Larson talking about it this morning. All right, so stand by for that. And, yeah, that's about it. John Silva is, of course, in the newsroom. He's got all the updates happening in and around the globe and right in your backyard. And we'll be back shortly. Roland, did you send me something I missed? Whatever it was. I'll have to look at it. Okay, it's just something else. All right, yep. We'll be back. More Reese on the radio. Oh, and we have a guest today, okay? Shakia Dickerson and Gwen Samuel. They're going to be on here. They're going to talk about Matt Lesser at 4 o'clock. Stand by for that. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio. All right, we're back. Reese on the radio right here live. Again, we've got guests coming in. We've got Shakia Dickerson and Gwen Samuel. They're going to be coming in to talk about that issue with Matt Lesser and the Capital Prep School that lost millions of dollars in funding, even though they have been incredibly successful with the graduation rates. And, of course, the proficiency rate at those schools. We'll talk to them. And we're going to have them here for a little while, a little longer than we do most of our breaks, because we've got so much stuff to go back and forth on. And it's my first time meeting these ladies and their efforts. And it's an important story for us to get to the bottom of. So I want to give them as much time as possible. They're en route now. They should be here within the next 40 minutes. By then, we should be back on the regular radio. In fact, for those of you who are interested, let me get to what's the Red Sox score right now. Why am I doing all the way in September? What the heck's going on? I'm on the wrong dates in the wrong months of the game. What does the game look like now? Boston 3, Milwaukee nada. That's a good score. I like the sound of that. Let me see. I don't think I see anything else there. I don't know what inning they're in, but I just know that it looks like the Red Sox are winning. That's good. Good sign. Anyway, we'll find out where it is. But by the time we get around that 4 o'clock, 4:10 time, we should be back on the regular airwaves. So stand by for that. So John Larson, he has filed articles of impeachment against Donald Trump for a host of reasons. These 13 articles go all the way back to Doge, according to John Larson. And, you know, I went to this event knowing that this story was going to, that I thought that the people in Connecticut would care about this story, because John Larson is in a very tough battle for his seat against former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin. And a lot of people are saying, some inside baseball here, Bronin's looking good against Larson. And many people say, if you want me to tell you, I will. But many people say that Larson's desperate. And this article of impeachment thing was sort of riding the coattails of Luke Bronin. And that's why many people believe that he did it. But again, he goes back to Doge, and we started talking about it, and Larson wanted to tug my ear forever. And I don't regret it that I asked him, but he immediately started going back to Doge. Then he wanted to talk about, the Vietnam War and the War Powers Act. He wanted to put on a clinic. It's nothing against him. And I respect it, because guess what? When you show up, right? When you show up and you come to talk to these politicians, the thing you want them to do is talk. And he talked. He did. And listen to me, from the bottom of my heart, Larson, you got my respect. But we're in a soundbite era right now. Get to the point. So which he did, right? He did. He got to the point. And he went long, and all this stuff. But something interesting happened behind the scenes. I just want to mention it because, again, I'm here to report to you, not just about the powers that be, but the people who cover the powers that be. And that's the news media. And something wild happened. So they were upstairs for the handing over of the check to OPP, our piece of the pie. And then everyone was supposed to go downstairs and talk to John Larson off topic. And we get down there, and one of the reporters is walking somewhere off the phone and says to her camera gal, yeah, come on, we're going. John Larson isn't downstairs yet. And NBC Connecticut packs up and they leave. And I go, I'm sorry, did NBC just leave? And the other young lady there says, uh-huh. And I went, Larson just announced yesterday articles of impeachment. The cameras are leaving? They were like, yeah. Not that I think it's a big story, but it does involve Donald Trump. Like, what do you mean they're leaving? They were like, yeah, they're just gone. That's weird. Okay, anyway, they leave. So Larson comes, he comes downstairs, and of course the young lady who's there, who's holding microphones for both cameras, I won't say which companies, but anyway, she's holding it, and she's asking the questions for both news organizations. And they're there just to get sound bites. Okay, fine. All right. I don't want to make a big fuss out of that. And they're talking to him and whatnot, and clearly the handler does not have control of this, because all you have to do is say, John Larson, what do you think about the sun? And John Larson will talk about the sun. He's a talker. And this is a good thing, because he should be doing the talk shows. He should be doing everywhere. He loves to talk, and he loves to talk about the things he cares about. Why don't they take advantage of that? Probably because they're afraid that he might get a tough question that he can't handle. To my point, I just wanted to get to the bottom of the impeachment, in the sense of, why do this now? You don't have control of the Congress. You don't have control of the Senate. The Republicans do. And everybody knows. And it's part of the reason why NBC left, and there were no real reporters to ask him any questions about it. It's the reason why this so-called impeachment got no burn. Al Green, that lunatic out of Texas, got more press over his articles of impeachment. Every one of them. He got national attention for his ridiculous articles of impeachment than John Larson did. And he has never been compared to unfavorably to Al Green. Larson's like, he's a pretty stellar guy in the political scene. But here he was with these articles of impeachment, and no one cared. Now, again, I go back to the point, it was pointless for him to file them. We know that. But that was the basis of my question. I wanted to get to that. Come on, man. Why are you doing this? It's just political theater. It gets you in the paper. It's just getting you some ink, which he knew. But he did it anyway. So I want you to notice something. This is me asking John Larson, why are you doing this when you know it's going nowhere?
There's really no process for which you can continue these articles of impeachment. I mean, if anything, it's just going to get you ink.
Of course there is a process. The question is whether or not the majority party will go along with the process.
But you know they won't.
Do you know they won't?
Yeah.
You have that vision. You know what they're going to do?
Now, that was interesting, right? Because I know, look, there's no question, everybody knows that Republicans are not going to join John Larson and impeach the president. But there he was telling me, you know.
There's really no process for which you can continue these articles of impeachment. I mean, if anything, it's just going to get you ink.
Of course there is a process. The question is whether or not the majority party will go along with the process.
But you know they won't.
Do you know they won't?
Yeah.
You have that vision. You know what they're going to do?
No one would accuse me of getting ahead of my skis on that. No one. But what was alarming was I said, okay, fine. Double down. Give me a Nancy Pelosi take that to the bank quote that he's going to get impeached. You're saying, I don't know. Give me a guarantee you can take that to the bank Nancy Pelosi style. Here's how he responded.
Are you going to give me a Nancy Pelosi bank on it for impeachment?
Pardon?
Are you going to give me a Nancy Pelosi, quote, bank on it that you'll see the president be impeached and Republicans will act on this?
I don't speak for Nancy Pelosi.
Well, no, I'm speaking. I'm saying, will you give me a bank on it that an impeachment will happen? You said that I don't have any foresight. You appear to.
I've submitted the legislation. I think that it speaks for itself.
And you believe that you'll see an impeachment, you'll see Republicans join you in that effort?
I don't know what the Republicans do. Obviously, you do, but I do not know what they will do.
Then why would you fight me on it? Why would you fight me on it? That's it. Again, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Now, again, I'm a novice at this. But I can get these people to answer any question any way I want to. Why? Because it's easy. I can get them to walk into the quote of the day. Call me a natural. But he just went from, you don't know, to, I have no idea what they're going to do. He's fighting me on it when he knows damn well he has no idea what's going to be. This, again, is exactly what they're ticked off at me about. Because again, it's just ask a question, let them answer, everybody cuts off the microphone. Thank you. What do you think about this? I think this, that, and the third. Thank you for your time. And again, I'm not even trying to be adversarial, just asking the question. Come on, don't you know that this is not going to? And I do this just so his handlers know. The reason why I do the back and forth with John Larson is because they won't come on the show. That's the reason why I'm out there. They won't come on the show. No matter how many times or how many ways I ask, they always tell me, we'll get back to you. So I've got to go out there and I got to get 5 minutes. If I'm lucky, 10. Because they won't come here. That's why I'm on the ground. And I said, I spoke to the person that was there, the young lady that's there. And she gives me this little, I'll call you later and I'll tell you why. Don't worry. I already know why. I don't really need the phone call. But then to learn that there are people who were running around going, who is this guy and why is he showing up at press conferences? Yeah. Can you believe that? Who is he? Why is he showing up at press conferences? Like, what? That's being asked. So that you know, folks. And I'm going to make this plea to every one of you. Please understand this. I wouldn't do it. I would not make this plea to you if it didn't matter. And I am not kidding you. There are people who work in this building who know that I'm telling the truth when I say it. They would never go on the record and say it. So I want you to understand this. If there are people asking, why is Reese showing up at press conferences out of concern, it is important that you support this show. Do you understand? And the people who are asking the questions, it is absolutely astonishing who they are. To ever ask, what's he doing there? Why is he showing up? And they know the questions I'm asking. You just heard one of them. You've heard several of them that I play here on the air. The fact that there would be people who are concerned about it is the reason why you need to support this show. Because someone is either perturbed, upset, concerned, confused about me asking questions and being there to ask those questions. As if in some way I'm being the muckraker that's on my bio. And instead of it's not like I haven't given these people my card. Hey, give me a holler. Hey, come say hello. Called and even asked them to come be on the show. Hey, come on the show. I'd love to sit down and chat with you about politics and, the state overall, your coverage of it. Some of them even ask, hey, man, you should have me on your show. Sure, come on by. Would love to have you. But then behind my back, calling certain individuals, asking, what's he doing here? That's the reason why I love it. That's the reason why you have to support this show. And because if those people don't want me there, you know the reason why. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you any of that. The reason why they're concerned is because something might happen. Somebody's out there working for the people. Who signed off on this? That's kind of the deal. Did you know about this? Who is this guy? Who gave them the authority? Do we have to call people? Yeah, you're going to have to call a lot of people. You're going to have to call a lot of people. And I would say, if, you know, as I told you guys very early on this show, you know, even when I was broadcasting from Texas, right? What did I tell you they were going to have to do? They have to destroy me. They're going to have to. They don't have a choice. In order to keep the status quo, to keep you from ever being informed, to keep your questions away from the people who should answer them, anyone stepping up on your behalf has to be destroyed. They have no choice. They want to keep things the way that they are. You can't come in here and muckrake. You can't come in here and disrupt things. They'll sit in the rooms and they'll say, what are we going to do with this guy? What are we going to do with him? And I'm the type of guy that loves that. I love that. Never do it. And people should never, I tell people all the time, never do that to me. Never, ever give me the impression that I'm a threat to you. Don't. You're better off just going about your business. Just let me do me. You do you. Let me do me. When you start making phone calls to people, there's a problem. Especially for people making phone calls about me. I don't take those things lightly because I know that what it means is, and this is something all of you need to understand. What do I take personally? Okay, never ever mess with my wife. Never mess with my family. But if there's anything that's core to who I am and what I do here, this job is never try to silence me. Trying to silence me, going after my right to speak and to speak up. I mean, you get a nicer reaction if you shot my child. Seriously. Trying to shut me up, I take that really personal. And if anybody knows my backstory, you know why. I've had that happen before. And I was at the brink of being silenced forever. I'll never let that happen again. Never. So any threats to me or what I am trying to do, because I know what I'm doing is right, any threats to that by anybody, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. So, be nice, play nice, do your job, let me do mine. And we'll be okay. We'll be good. I don't want to hear another story about it either. And like I said, I love being here at WTIC. I love it. But even if I weren't, the work would never stop. Not now. Not now. Not ever. So I hope you understand that. Let me see. Thank you for your concern and showing up and doing the job that most journalists won't do anymore. Keeping people informed on the truth. I appreciate that, buddy. Also, Larson is looking for volunteers on his side, afraid to lose his seat. Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. I understand that he's concerned. Celebrating getting to share space with the dude that they are... Celebrating getting to share space with the dude taking a giant... Yeah, I guess so, Ryan. Thank you. I guess I understand that. What does Mark say? How do you know it's an election year? John Larson publicly speaks. Well, you know, somebody had mentioned that there. I want to say that. That's an important part there, Mark. Someone in the room, in fact, it was one of the young kids that was there. He walked by me, and I said to him, dude, you look like you hate doing this. And he goes, I do. And I said, is it a good program? He goes, no, program's good. He goes, you don't like the politics part? He goes, yeah, when these people show up, it sucks. And I'm like, damn. So he's like, because he knows, like, in his heart, I know, by the way, this OPP organization. I know nothing about them other than the fact that the director makes over $200,000 a year. Don't know how that works out. But Larson was there to give up like $500,000 as a check to them, and apparently he's given them millions of dollars. He's there every year. But this young kid who was there, his response to this was, yeah, I don't like being used in this way. That was the way he looked at it. And he knows that whatever this organization is about, they grab a couple of kids and they say, hey, listen, we're getting this check. We'd like you to show up, to take a photo op with John Larson. And a couple of kids there were a little, perturbed. There's one moment where they're doing the photo op, after they, do the photo op with the check, with the big giant check. The kids are asked to stand with John Larson, and one of the kids there puts rabbit ears behind John Larson's head, and the director there was furious. It was like, don't do that. Don't do it. She had to talk to him. She was like, don't do that. But the kids don't even know Larson. They know they're being used, and they're just like, great, some politician is here. They're asking us all to behave. And to them, it's like any other thing. It's like, God, these people don't care about us. They only show up when it affords them an opportunity to show they care, they show up. And to these kids, that matters to them, that the people in that building show up for them every day. Politicians show up when it's a photo op. And everybody's made to be, play nice and look, all smiles. And they hate it because they know they're being used. I don't blame them for, putting the rabbit ears up. Be respectful, but, the kid was being playful just in the sense of, trying to keep a bit of his own integrity. It's like, hey, this is all make-believe. And good on the kid for that. Let's get another check of the news. John Silva is here. He's going to give you all the updates today. And like I said, coming up real soon, we've got Shakia Dickerson and Gwen Samuel, who are going to be sitting right here in the office. And also, whatever. John Silva's got the news. We'll be back. All right, we're back. Reese on the radio here live. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. Weirdly enough, I'm not getting all the other comments from the Reese on the radio page. My personal page, I'm getting all of them on the screen, but I got to go to the actual page to read them. So let me read a couple of them so you guys don't think I'm ignoring you. Lori says that they are already bought and paid for. They gave up real journalism a long time ago. You are an anomaly and have the audacity to ask good questions that demand answers. Thank you, Lori. Matty O says, God help anyone that tries to silence you. Yeah, that's a personal thing to me. I used to get into... I'm going to tell something bad. So I had to personally threaten a guy who said something like that to me. I was like, nobody should be able to listen to you. And I just went, it took everything in my being not to beat the hell out of him. Because it's a trigger. I don't, in the world of triggering, that's the one. Like telling me that I'm not allowed to speak or have my point of view. Like, just never do that. Just don't. And it does. It just I don't know how to act. It's like it's a weird place. Anyway, with that, let me get into other stuff. Going from John Larson to another Connecticut favorite. Oh, sorry. That was weird. Another person who tends to trigger a lot of you is none other than Chris Murphy. And Chris Murphy, how do I say this? Well, let me put it this way. We've come up with something new for Chris Murphy because every time he talks, he tends to do something. So there should be an alarm in his name.
Warning, warning, bullshitter alert, bullshitter alert.
That's what should be played every time he speaks. Anytime he's on television, wherever.
Warning, warning, bullshitter alert, bullshitter alert.
This was him on CNN with Erin Burnett talking about what happened with the ceasefire in Iran.
If you accept even part of the Iranian statement, Donald Trump has agreed to give Iran control of the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, he's wrong there. Sorry, Chris, that's not true. The U.S. met all military goals. The Strait opens fully. Talks start on April 10th in Pakistan on a longer deal. U.S. officials especially say that Iran's 10-point plan, the one that Murphy is citing, is not the agreed terms. It's their spin for domestic applause. They're not giving up control. Not at all. Murphy knows that. Crazy part is that he is citing Iran's talking points, not the president's.
That is extraordinary. If you go deeper into the statement from the Iranian National Security Council, they claim that Trump has also agreed to Iran's right to enrichment, to suspend all sanctions against Iran, and to allow Iran to keep their missile program, their drone program, and their nuclear program.
No truth to that either. Again, Chris Murphy citing what Iran is saying and stating that as fact. No permanent sanctions relief, no enrichment green light, no free pass on missiles or nukes. Trump has always said the Iran's nuclear program is the core threat, and this buys time to dismantle it further without endless bombing. Iran's 10-point wish list, sanctions off, troops out, etc. was their opening bid. Trump called that framework workable for future talks, but not a done deal. Pre-war, Obama-Biden gave Iran cash for enrichment anyway. Murphy was absolutely silent during that time, but now he's talking about, the Iran people say that they're going to be able to proliferate nukes. We know that that's not Trump's idea. But to make matters worse is what Chris Murphy says immediately after citing Iran.
Now, who knows if any of that is true?
Then why cite it, bozo? Why cite it?
But if at the very least This agreement gives Iran the right to control the strait.
It never does. And again, still citing Iran. Still citing them. Still saying that Donald Trump is giving them the Strait of Hormuz. He's not. Everyone knows that. But he still continues to spew this nonsense.
That is cataclysmic for the world. And it is just stunning that that's where we have gotten to.
Yeah. So that's how he's framing it. From Iran and their point of view, and then saying, who knows whether or not any of that is true.
Warning. Warning. Bullshitter alert. Bullshitter alert.
That's Chris Murphy for you. God bless that bozo. God bless him. God bless him. We're waiting on Shakia Dickerson and Gwen Samuel to show up. They should be here roughly in about 9 minutes. So if they get there earlier, we're going to set them up here so we can talk. We're going to have a nice long talk about what's going on in Middletown, about education in the state of Connecticut, and why this is important that people like Gwen and Shakia push back on politicians that are just keeping these kids, especially minority kids and the most vulnerable kids, in these failing schools. Now, I got a reach out from a Republican who said, Reese, whatever you do, give these ladies my number. And this is the point I've been making forever. Not just to Republicans, but for people who want action from politicians, especially those in the black and brown communities. If you give them a chance, Republicans will reach out to you. They're a little hesitant because they have been made to believe that these communities will not listen to them for whatever reason. I don't even think, to be honest, this is my view. I don't think that they understand how these communities operate. And what I would say to Republicans is simply this. If these organizations really care about their communities, they will listen to everything you offer to them. And you have to offer something. I'm sorry, that's the way it works. I mean, you go all the way back to FDR, right? You go to Lyndon Baines Johnson. What did they do? They offered the African-American community certain things. Sadly enough, that is how you get them in the door. They have to receive something because that's the way politics are played within those communities. It just is. Now, I'm not saying to ever go down the road of reparations. You don't need to do that. That's ridiculous. They need means-tested, result-oriented things for the communities. And this is a project, this particular one, with the Capital Prep School, this is one of those things that you can, I hate to use the word use, but it's one of the ones that you can parlay into a relationship that says, you know what? We're going to hold Democrats responsible for this. And we're going to hold the press for paying no attention to it either. That's the thing. We have got to hold them to account. That we've got to say, hey, man, these folks have been telling us over and over again about how Republicans and MAGA folks don't care about minority communities, don't care about minority education. And yet here they are completely taking money from these organizations that they're now spending, $935 to get kids out of magnet and prep schools, getting them back into the failing schools, which is going to do what? It's going to hurt these kids. Take them out of the schools that are teaching them and putting into those that don't. To who? To help who? The teachers union. And guess what? If the news media doesn't want to cover it, call them out. Make sure that you call them out. And look, I'm going to go one step further. Okay? When you as a politician call one of these people in the news media, I want you to begin your conversation by saying, so-and-so, this call is being recorded. I'd like to ask you if you will cover this story in your paper or in your publication. If they hang up the phone or if they say they don't want to be on a recorded line, then you know. You can ask them, why don't you want to be recorded? I am bringing a story to you that is important to the communities that we serve. Why won't you cover this story, or why won't you let me record you talking about this story? You would record me. You would tell me I was on a recorded line. That's the way I would do it. And if these people don't want to call me, if you have a relationship with somebody at the news desk at one of these newspapers, or one of these, the newspapers even, yes, and the television stations, I would call them immediately. Hi, this is Senator so-and-so on a recorded line. I'd like to talk to the head of the news desk. This story is important. Can we get a reporter to cover this story? And if they give you guff about it, well, I don't want to be recorded. Why not? Are you afraid that you're going to give an answer that people may not like? Are you going to tell me that you're not concerned we're not covering that story today? That's the way it should be. That should. They're ignoring you anyway. What harm would you get out of it? None. What are they going to do? They're going to retaliate by never covering you? They don't now. We're going to retaliate by not giving you any favorable reporting. They don't now. Everybody knows it's an open secret, okay? They're the media wing of the Democrat Party in the state. Everybody knows it. And if they don't want to listen to you, that's fine. But you've got to get results, and you got to make sure that you are there at all of those places in order to get those people. And talk to these two young ladies who are going to be here in the studio. Reach out to them. Bring them to your office. What can we do? This is wrong. You are being used. You are being abused. You are being ignored. And your votes are being squandered by a party who only sees you or cares about you during Election Day. And they know damn well you're not going to show up, or you're not going to do anything about it. You're going to cry, you're going to moan, but you're not going to do anything. You're either going to vote for them or you're going to go home. Well, guess what? It's time to make them feel the pain that they have inflicted on you. And you've got to tell them, and you've got to reach out and stop being scared. Do you need some assistance? Call your boy. I'm not afraid of anybody. You know that. Call me. I'll reach out to them. I've been to the North Side. Every one of those people look at me. Oh, crap. What's he doing here? You know why I'm here. I'm here for results. I promised all of you that I was going to be on the ground, and here I am. Reese, when are you going to hold Republicans' feet to the fire? Let me answer that question, because I love this question. I will hold Republicans' feet to the fire here in Connecticut when you put them in charge and they fail you. They are not in charge. How could I possibly hold people who are powerless to any account? Donald is the person who wrote that. Donald, the reason why you say that there's gang activity and drug activity and shootings in the black community is because somebody puts those guns and those drugs in the community. You never hold the drug dealer or the gangbanger to account. You've never held them responsible. You've always held the responsibility or put the responsibility on the people who made those things available to the black kid. So, the Democrats are in charge. The Republicans are just sitting there. So all of the things that are happening here in Connecticut are all being done unopposed by the Democrat Party. They are the dealers, the pushers of all of this policy. They are the ones who are handing out the guns. Do you understand that? How am I going to hold the Republicans? In this case, according to you, if I were to make sort of an apples to apples comparison, the Republicans in this state are the black and brown community. They have no power. The Democrat Party does. So again, When am I going to hold the Republicans to account? Easy. Give them the power. If they screw up, we blame them. But if you can name one policy, just write it down. Go look it up on Google. Ask a friend. Phone a friend. Tell me the Republican policy here in Connecticut that's screwing up these neighborhoods, that's taking money away from the Capital Prep School. Tell me who the Republican is who voted for that, who took that money away from those kids. Huh? Talk to me about the Republican who made Duracell and Lego and Black & Decker and the governor's wife's business. Who was responsible for that? Name the Republican who's responsible for that. Name the Republican who was responsible for $550 million disappearing, poof, right into the general fund after they taxed all of the restaurants. Whose idea was that? Name the Republican who wanted 1% taxes on restaurants, on meals, and it was responsible for putting that into the general fund, making it disappear. We will hold that Republican to account. Name them. But you can't. You cannot. Name the Republican that gave Doug McCrory and the Blue Hills Association, $10-15 million, to where hundreds of thousands were wired to the fraudulent account. Name the Republican. We'll hold them responsible. You can't. You say that word like it means something. It means nothing around here because they're not in charge. See, here's what you're failing to say, and I know because it's a tough thing for you to. You can't hold Democrats responsible. They're your party. They're allowed to do whatever they want to do because you hate the Republicans so much. You hate them so much, you will let the Democrats steal from you, destroy your neighborhoods. You will let them destroy everything, take your money. You will let them do anything as long as the Republicans are not in charge. You're a battered wife to the Democrats. And you love them so much, you will take and you will accept the abuse. Because just like Barack Obama said back in 2012, what are you going to do? Vote Republican? You're going to vote for me or you're going to stay home? That's it. So please, don't bore me with the, what about the Republicans? Give them power, and I'll give you all the what about them till the cows come home. I think, hey, Roland, if you can, I don't know, I'm sure you can hear me. I think Gwen and them just pulled up. Let me double check real quick. She just sent me a text. She says, okay, we're taking a right on South Bay. Okay. Well, we're there in front. She says, can't find you. I don't know what that means, but I guess when we take the next break, we'll get them on the horn. I think they're either outside or they're somewhere in the building. Let me make sure that they're here. So we'll be able to do that in a second. In about 3 minutes, we'll get to the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. It says, why are they afraid to go into the Black and brown communities? I don't know if they're afraid. I just don't think they know what to do if they get there. And the other scary part is that even when they do, what do the rabble-rousers and the protesters go? They go, Republicans, get out of our town. I always remember that Michael Nutter story, the former mayor of Philadelphia. He's on Meet the Press, and he says, that's the problem. The Republican Party never wants to come into the Black and brown communities and talk to us. And then Mitt Romney goes out there in 2012, and who's standing outside with the bullhorn telling Mitt Romney to get out of Philadelphia? Mayor Michael Nutter. It was crazy. Go look it up. I wouldn't lie to you about that. So people in the Republican Party think they're not welcome. Why would I go? And I get that. But I mean, look, take it from Reese on the radio. You got to go where you're not welcome. You got to put those people on notice because they are going to be stunned. Hey, what's he doing here? Who invited him? He just showed up. People are impressed by that. They are, because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to respond. See, McDonald's urgent care stop and shop. They are at the wrong place. I don't know why. They said that they're at, see, the McDonald's urgent care stop and shop. They're not at the right address. Okay, we've got to figure them out. Yeah, there you go. Trump went to the Bronx. You're 100% right, Adam 12. Remember that? And what did they say when he went there? What did all the people, even Kathy Hochul, what did she say when Trump went to the Bronx and did the rally there? Right? They said he wasn't wanted. What's he doing in our city? They get on these television shows and they go, Republicans never come here. They don't care about us. And then they show up and they go, get out of town. Pfft. All that stuff is corny. I got to get these people on the phone. Okay, we got a minute or so. I'm so concerned because it looks like the places that they are doesn't seem to be close to here. And they're seeing a stop and shop, and I gave them this address, and for some odd reason they are not finding this address here. So I should have given Roland their number so they can find this place. Anyway, they will be here shortly. We've got at least 5 or 10 minutes before that part of the show comes in. Is that a call that I can take? Oh, that's Mark in West Hartford. I don't think I can grab that. Yeah, not in enough time because we got to go to traffic in less than a minute. So anyway, I'll see if I can grab Mark in a second. But let me find these folks to see where they are to get them to the right address because some odd reason they are nowhere near here. And if it's the stop and shop, they are far. They are definitely far. All right. Roland, can I just get to I can't go ahead of the time, right? Not at all? No, I don't think so. I don't even think he can hear me. Okay, that's about it. What can I tell you? I think we can go now. All right. Let's get to Mark Christopher. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Let me work on getting these folks to this address. We'll be back at Reese on the radio. All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. My guests are just, I'm going to say 3 minutes away. Gwen Samuel and Shakia Dickerson are on their way here. They got a little lost, but they are close by. They should be here any moment now. So by the time we go through the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center and do all of that, a little bit of business there, we'll be fine. I also know that the Red Sox are at the bottom of the 8th. So we'll be returning to our regular broadcast soon. For those of you who listen to us on the regular radio, and the game will be over. It looks like Red Sox are looking good, 5-0 against the Milwaukee Brewers. So that looks good so far. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this goes off without a hitch. It's just one of those things. Fly by the seat of your pants radio. I used to love this when I was younger. When I was younger, I was loving it. You didn't know what was going to happen, and the guests didn't show up, or they were running late. I was like, yeah, it's exhilarating. I get to this age, and I'm like, oh. Well, then again, when back in those days, I didn't have to host, so I'm sure the host was going through nightmares trying to get the guests there on time. It's a fact of life. You just got to deal with it. Anyway, speaking of getting back to it, let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio. All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Game almost over, 2 outs away from calling it a wrap on the Red Sox against the Brewers. And then we'll be back. Our guests still haven't arrived yet, but that might be a good thing because if they come in, then we'll be back on regular radio and everybody will be able to hear them. They made a wrong turn in Albuquerque and they ended up being 3 miles away. But they look really, really close from what I can tell. So, we'll be patient and they'll be here as soon as possible. And that, of course, is Gwen Samuel and Shakia Dickerson, who are put together a petition to remove Matt Lesser from the black. Sorry, did it again. The Black and Puerto Rican Caucus. I don't know why. I don't know. It's like I have to develop an immunity to this thing that every time I say it, I can't stop laughing. And there's this great article about it that I read the other day where a lot of people were just ticked off at this idea that he could say, my mom's Argentinian and I should be a part of this caucus. And people just said, all right, no problem. And I get it. You're willing to stretch, to just say like, the guy's an ally. Okay, if his mother's Argentinian, I guess that's kind of Hispanic. So, and so we'll bring him in, and that, of course that makes sense. So, but then to have this happen to you. And as much as I want to say and I thought it even when I read the story, I said, and is it Christy Almage, I think, who said it? She was the person who posted it. I'm almost certain she did. And then the writer of the article sent me the information to get in touch with Gwen Samuel. But when I read the article from Christy, I immediately said to myself, damn. See what you get when you mess around with these people? But then I started reading the whole story. And then as I started to dig deeper about the school and the kids who were there, and that is one of the things that I always say, if you really want to tug at Reese on the Radio's heartstrings, it's school and kids in those communities who constantly go to, I will tell you, I dropped out of high school because I was homeless. But I loved a lot of my teachers. I really did. Sure, there were unions back then, but there were really, really good teachers. They weren't all great, but they were good. And I remember them by name, and I remember their characters and their characteristics. What made them different and made them appealing and funny. And I wasn't always the greatest student, but I never disrespected them. And they had an authority that I could really, really respect. I had one dean, Mr. Palomino, in junior high school. He was a jerk. He was a jerk. But that's a longer story. If I tell you about Palladino and what he said to me and the reason why I thought he was a jerk, it will blow your mind because if I tell you the story, you'll go, yeah, he was a jerk. But he was a force to be reckoned with. He was clearly a force to be reckoned with. He was stern. He was short. A lot of people thought he had a Napoleon complex. But he was stern. And a lot of people didn't like him. But you remembered him. I would say I can't say he was fair. He was a jerk. He just was. But not in a way that, some people can be a jerk and you just hate him. He was a jerk. I didn't like him. And I definitely didn't like him after what he said to me in front of my mother once. And that was, forget about it. I could never respect him after that. Now looking back. But other teachers in school growing up, I really did respect them. And they kind of had this quirky attitude that made them stand out. My Spanish teacher, Mrs. Morgenthau, beautiful woman. Every boy in that class wanted to learn Spanish because of her. A name like Morgenthau. But she spoke Spanish fluently. She was beautiful. I'm trying to remember the actress she looked like. So I remember school in a very loving and positive way overall. And you hear all of these horror stories after the fact. You keep saying, it was like, wow, when did school get so bad? And why is it so bad? And then you hear all of these horror stories by kids who, don't want to go and feel like they're, they don't teach us anything in this place anymore. And it's all about this, that, and the third. And you hear all the horror stories about school. And then you hear this story. And you hear them all over the place. About charter schools and kids wearing uniforms and trying to get the fashion show out of the school, especially in the communities that are affected. And look, I'll admit, if there are some things that tug at me about being a black man, that is one of them. Education is a big deal because I know in order for you to make it in this world, you've got to learn something. You do. You have to learn something. You have to have an education. Begrudgingly, you have to have some knowledge. And so when you know that there are people who don't care whether you're educated or not, and you hear those horror stories, as I always famously said, it doesn't matter if you pass or fail, I still get paid. If you know somebody has that kind of power, that doesn't matter what happens to you, they're still going to get paid, and that's what they care about. You got to check that. And so then you hear about these kids who have been left behind. Of course, you know my story, and as it pertains to, Oprah Winfrey and not helping the kids in Chicago schools after she admits that the only thing they care about is iPods and tennis sneakers. Those things sort of, they tug at you for a while, and you just go, damn, it's like just left those kids in the lurch. And then you read this story about Capitol Prep, and you kind of go, damn, that's messed up. Like, who would do that? And it's not like the school closed down because of it. They've got to fight to keep the doors open. Why? Because the most important thing to them, as it should be, are the children. And that's what all of these folks keep telling us. That's the most important. Remember the whole story? Yeah, I wouldn't keep the food out of the mouths of children. These people are cruel and unjust. And then you get this situation where people just don't seem to care. And of course, they have the cover of no one covering it in the news, which is, again, how each of these people operate. Press scrutiny or polling data. Don't forget that. So if the press covers it and they look unfavorable and the masses know about it, and think about that, that's important. The masses are now aware that these kids got screwed over. What happens then? It's real simple. Then they go, this doesn't look good. This is horrible PR. Let's act. Not like they just act on their own volition, that it's important to do the right things or the good things. They now are worried about the microscope that's on them. Then let's get it right, folks. And when that happens, what do you expect? And then, they do what they're supposed to do, and then hopefully it doesn't get covered again. Yeah, I think they're outside. Are they? Does anybody see them? Yeah, they're outside, Roland. Thank you. And that's why we're doing this on the show today, to speak to these ladies, because they're trying to get attention. I know they're probably asking themselves, like, does anybody care about our kids? Does anybody care about our community? I thought these folks did. And it's frightening to know that people can do that knowing that those kids are going to be success stories. So I'm floored by it. I'm just absolutely floored. I'm going to do something I normally wouldn't do. I'm just going to bring the ladies in to the door. Bring them on in. Come on, ladies, come on in, and anybody sit. I've got one microphone there for any one of you and this one on my other side, so I'll just take either side of you. Which one is Gwen? Gwen, okay. Hi, Gwen. And Shakia, thank you so much for being here on short notice. It was a pleasure. Grab a seat. Just relax. I'm over here just monologuing and talking as much as I possibly can. Just grab a seat there, and we really, really thank you guys. Don't worry about the time. I had planned on keeping you guys here for a while because what you guys are fighting for, I want to give as much attention as they can because I know that you guys have been fighting for somebody to care about this. And this is important to care about. So we are going to give you all the time that you need, even up to the end of this show, which is like an hour and a half from now. So you can talk about not just about what you're fighting for, but of course the kids that you're fighting for, because their education is key. And as I was just telling everybody here a minute ago, look, I'm a high school dropout. I'm self-learned. Like I actually had to self-educate myself. But not every kid can do that. Some kids are going to fall through the cracks. Some kids are going to either go to the gangs or go to the drugs. I mean, those things are there. And when you have a community like this that gets together and you have the good doctor doing what he can to get these kids into a place where they're learning and the success rate is great and they are doing the things that most people didn't believe that these kids could do. And then have somebody turn around and pull the rug from under them. And the way it was done.
Yes, the way he did.
Sorry, I'll throw this up.
That got me. That took me. See, if he hadn't done that, if he had spoke to everyone, you wouldn't have saw Gwen Sam. You probably saw the more Middletown fight.
Right.
But when you did that 10 minutes before, and they had press conferences that day, those families took time off from work. That means the very parents you call lazy, that don't care about their children,
that's right,
showed up at the meetings, put the work in, saying we need this. We all benefit. Black kids just don't benefit.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone benefits.
Any one of those kids who would normally would have fallen into the cracks was benefiting.
And then you're on a. That's why I'm pulling up the mission. If you look at the mission of the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus, he shouldn't be there.
Right.
He's supposed to teach about the electoral process, create equity and health and education, and you're voting against the future workforce, which will not be the future workforce if you don't invest in them on the front end.
Yeah.
But because it doesn't apply to him, he's had shout out that he can afford private, high schools, and he came from a
affluent background.
Very. So I understand. But you don't get to. Well, because you're victims in need of saving, I know what's best for you. Even though Middletown put in the work. And she's been fighting. Kia has been fighting.
So, Kia, I want to say to you, because Gwen had the first effort to put out the Gwen, did you do the first?
I did the first petition.
You did the first petition. You did the second petition, both of which got a response from everybody, right? I mean, the people in the community have. Shakia, tell me what is important about this school to you? I think are we going all the way to the bottom of the hour, Roland? Oh, mainstream. Okay, let me go. I didn't know that. I'm on. Okay. This is absolutely cool because I didn't know that we were on regular radio because we were online earlier. But you're good in your life. Shakia Dickerson, thank you again for being here. And I know it was under short notice. My pleasure. Bring the microphone up to you as much as you can. And if I have to raise it, I will. Just come on up to the mic. I want to make sure that everybody hears you. How you doing now? That better? Okay. Why is that microphone not on? That's weird. There may be a reason for that. I may have to. Okay, we'll work it out. So your involvement, do you have an involvement directly into the school at all? Are you like one of the staffers or are you just a supporter of the school?
I'm just a parent that I wanted my kids to go to Capital Prep Middletown.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I was rooting for it when they told us that we were going to have it. I was excited.
Okay.
Because at the time I had 3 kids in school. My son just graduated.
Oh, wow.
Last year.
From Capital Prep?
From
regular
Middletown schools.
Okay.
But they were struggling in school.
Right.
Like big time struggling. Like where they weren't, the work was hard for them. Nobody was listening to them. They were pushing them through classes.
Right. There's that social promotion.
Oh, you're doing so good, Shakia. You're doing so good. And I'm like, no, they're not. They're not even bringing home homework. They're not doing nothing that Capital Prep would have done.
Wow.
And I wanted Capital Prep because Capital Prep had so many values that I wanted for my kids.
Yeah.
And when they told us that he had pulled the funding at 12:01 at night, I was like, what? No, it's not going down like that. We're going to do something about this.
So you, again, and this is the labor of love that's there, is that you see the importance of this school to that community. You didn't do this out of malice. This was really because you felt like someone was, again, as I said earlier, pulling the rug from under these kids' feet and just walking and doing it like a thief in the night, as Gwen said. Like it was, 12 minutes before midnight, I think it was, like 11:48, and does this. And you said, what was the response, Shakia, to your petition in general? Were parents immediately outraged? Because I think with Gwen's petition and then yours, this sort of sparked it back up, because there was already coverage when Gwen did it. This was brought back up to the forefront when you brought it up. What was the support like, or the support of your petition?
There's a lot of support for the petition going on. There's a lot of churches reaching out and trying to get on board and trying to help get this school back.
Yeah.
And
was there any media attention to this at all?
I didn't see any.
Gwen, did you see?
There was media, but not the type of media if it was another issue, right? Because you're talking about a certain population.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to give it media.
Yeah.
Because then once we give you a voice, then you put a spotlight on what just happened.
Yeah. Stand by. We're gonna get into weather and traffic. Like I said, we're gonna start all this and then we'll figure out the microphone. Something's going on here. Mark Christopher's here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And if you're making your way into downtown Hartford on the southbound side of 91, look for delays from 33 down to 32A and B in Hartford. Now, south of downtown, you'll see a little slow traffic by exit 28. And again, just a minor slowdown as you move down between exit 21 and 20 in Middletown. If you're traveling on the westbound side of 84, look for delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge, and that's tight out to exit 47 Sigourney Street. Then it opens up 84 eastbound, slowing about a mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. If you are traveling 291 eastbound, a little slow off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge as you head into South Windsor. 9 northbound, slowing in Middletown, approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. If you are traveling on the northbound side of Route 9, you've got some slow traffic as you move up by 34 in New Britain. Again, from exit 37 up to exit 38 in New Britain. If you are traveling 84 eastbound in Cheshire, you got some slow traffic approaching the 691 interchange. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing 17 to 18. And if you're on the southbound side of 95, delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven and New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We're clear today, and that means it'll be crisp tonight with clear skies out there. We hit a low of 30 degrees, so a freeze across our area. As we head into tomorrow after a chilly start, it's mostly sunny with a warming breeze. We will make it to 55 degrees. Tomorrow night, clear to partly cloudy with a low of 35. And by the time we get into Friday, sunshine and clouds mixing together, but it's a pleasant day, albeit a little breezy in the afternoon with a high of 62. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Waterbury's mayor wants a thorough inspection of the city's fire hydrants. This comes after firefighters trying to fight a fire on Bennett Avenue this week were hampered by 2 hydrants with insufficient water flow. That forced them to lay hundreds of extra yards of hose to other hydrants, causing a delay and likely leading to the near total loss of the home. There were no injuries. Mayor Paul Pernaruski wants that plan submitted to him from the police chief, the fire chief, and the water superintendent within a week. Man accused in the killing of 7 women on Long Island has pled guilty, that is. Rex Huerman was a Manhattan architect. He was in court today, pleading to the murders that took place from 1993 to 2011, also copping to an 8th killing as well. He will be sentenced in June, likely to life in prison without parole. Middletown police called at the high school today. They got a report of a student with a gun. The firearm was not loaded, they say. Police say the student had the firearm in a backpack. A shelter in place was put in effect while the investigation went on. There's no word on any arrests or charges. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz again in response to Israeli attacks against the Hezbollah group in Lebanon. The closure occurred, casting doubt over whether the already precarious ceasefire to end more than a month of war would hold. California Supreme Court's ordered a Republican county sheriff who seized more than 500,000 2025 election ballots to pause his probe into election fraud allegations while the judges review the legal challenge against it. The order came after the California Attorney General, a Democrat, last month asked the court to step in. Voting rights group is also challenging the ballot seizure. Bradley Airport's expecting a busy week and a half. Officials say 139,000 passengers are expected to pass through BDL through April 19th for the annual April vacation period. Officials say get there early, keep up to date through your carrier's website or app. Big day for the markets, rebounding on Wall Street. The Dow picked up over 1,300 points. The Nasdaq was up 617, and the S&P was up over 2.5%. Red Sox beat the Brewers here on TIC this afternoon, 5-0. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Carpal tunnel syndrome. Heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio. Shakia, just say hello for me one time so I can make sure you're...
Hello.
There you go. All right. People were in there. They were on the online. They were telling me, we can't hear Shakia. So I want to make sure that your mic was right. Okay. Gwen Samuel is here. Shakia Dickerson is here. Yes. They have so much stuff to share with you guys. So we are going to spend at least the next hour and a half talking to these ladies about, one, the importance of this program, the importance of getting out and voting for the things and your values that you support. Gwen has an amazing story of just, and in her way, I guess I can only say this is, what was done was absolute betrayal. There's just no way to put it other than that. Representative Pavlok D'Amato reached out to me on Monday to make sure that I reached out to you and Shakia to make sure that you guys got in touch. They are supporting you. She is supporting you wholeheartedly. She really, really wants to get your message out there so that people know what's going on, especially with these kids, because as much as we talk about this stuff about, the kids, and then when that moment comes where it's important to do stuff for the kids, they don't. It's insane that this has happened. So we'll break down the whole story for you here so that we can understand exactly what happened. We're also going to talk a little bit about Dr. Steve Perry because what I want to understand about him, I've gone to his Facebook page and I was there for a while. There was so much stuff that he put on there, and it's usually not my thing to Facebook stalk people, but his stuff is so interesting. In a minute, if you can, Gwen, tell me this. By the way, how well do you know Dr. Steve
I know
Perry?
Dr. Steve Perry very well.
Okay, so
he
you have,
led the charge before even Capital Prep was even a thought. It was a vision of his.
Mhm.
He was a principal in Harvard.
Okay.
So he brought
He
the
really
charter.
knows-
He
yeah.
really knows the thing. And then as people start, and he was doing so well, 100% of the students were going to college.
Right.
In Harvard is one of the top 5 poorest cities in
Yeah.
the country.
Yeah.
Which is an oxymoron because we're one of the top 5 wealthiest states in the country.
Mhm.
And so he led the efforts around school choice by the horns.
Yeah.
And he's been
And that is
attacked the whole way.
difficult. It's difficult here.
Very difficult when we have strong unions, when we're very traditional. See,
Yeah.
and our organization, the Connecticut Parents Union, we were instrumental in stopping the felony arrest of parents. Parents could face 20 years in prison in Connecticut if you took your kid in another school district.
Wow. Okay. Okay. We got so much to get into
Yeah,
here.
because that's
Thank
why
you.
we needed Dr. Perry
Yeah,
in the
no
house. And
kidding.
parents like to hear, our state is on some different something.
We'll get into that. Mark Christopher's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 southbound in Hartford delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. And if you are traveling into Meriden, 91 southbound's a little tight, 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching the Boak Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing approaching 46 into the tunnel. 2 westbound's a little tight as you merge with 84 west in East Hartford. Heading toward Middletown, 9 northbound slowing approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound slowing by 32, and again 35 up to exit 37 in New Britain. 84 eastbound is a little sluggish, 17 to 18 in Waterbury. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. And in New Haven, 95 southbound, you're slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummies, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
How will you navigate the journey to and through retirement? Johnson Brunetti is hosting a unique, all-in-one retirement planning event for those near retirement or recently retired. You don't want to miss industry leaders coming together to address top retirement concerns, including a licensed CPA, an estate planning attorney, a Social Security specialist, and more. Join us at the AquaTurf Club in Plantsville on May 14th at 6 p.m. Space is limited and reservations are required. Visit eventatjb.com to save your seat now.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio. We are live. I have Shakia Dickerson and also Gwen Samuel, who are here. Now they're on camera. People are just like, I can't see them. We can see them now. So we were talking about this, and this is a long break. So there's so much stuff that we need to get into, and we will talk about that even into the next hour, because this is, for me, a very, very important cause. What you guys are fighting for and what you have been sort of dealing with when it comes to education and politics in this state.
Yes.
It has been, out of sorts. So let's start in the beginning, what got you here in the first place. We have this charter school, the Capital Prep School.
Yes.
What's the full name of the school? Capital Prep
I think this is going to be Capital Prep Middletown.
Okay, Capital Prep Middletown, because
they do
there's
have one in
another one
Bridgeport,
in Bridgeport. This is a chain of prep schools.
Yeah, potentially.
But yeah, okay. And I do know from what I've read so far that the Bridgeport school is incredibly successful, or just as successful as this Middletown school is.
Yes.
As far as what we see in college, I think it's college admittance into, well, college acceptance, I should say. Kids who graduate who are accepted into college is somewhere north of 90%.
Very much so.
Okay.
Yes, he does an excellent job at graduation rates.
Right. Graduation rates are important. We're also looking at proficiency proficiency that is on par with the state, if not exceeding that. In fact, there's a story I read not too long ago that plenty of the children are graduating and getting degrees at ridiculous ages, some still in their teen years. I think it's a story about a young man who's somewhere around 14, 15 years old, who's very, very well, has a couple of degrees. I'm not remembering the exact one, but I remember seeing a couple of them on Dr. Steve Perry's page. And it's talked about on TikTok a lot about the success of these schools. And primarily the reason why these are so popular, because, of course, it goes against the status quo of what black schools or inner city schools are like. These are young black and brown kids who are successes in the schools in the inner city.
Right, because of their location.
Right.
So I'm sure if you had a Capital Prep in even a suburban community,
right,
the outcomes would just be as great because it's the mission and the vision.
Right.
Right. Dr. Perry is the reason why he's a great man, in my opinion. And we bump heads, right? That's life.
Sure.
Right. But the beauty of him is he believes in every student that comes through his doors. Mm-hmm. And that's half the battle.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. Oh, you're poor. Mm-hmm. Oh, because we had slavery. Mm-hmm. We have civil rights, so you're not capable. No, you're very capable. He runs a tight ship, right? And like anything, there's always room for improvement.
Right.
Right? But the beauty of it is he believes in the student. He believes in the vision. And he brings the parents on. This is not a Dr. Steve Perry show.
Right.
This is what the community needs. And parents support him. The faith leaders support him. Not him. I say the community, the Capital Prep community.
They totally rally around him because he gets results. This is not a pet project where it's like, we need to support the black teacher. It's not that. It's because they're very he's very result oriented.
Very much. Receipts all day.
Yeah.
Okay?
And and I think that's the beauty of him. It's like as you said, bumping heads with him. Steve Perry is clearly not a guy that I would probably agree with politically, but he quotes Malcolm X. And as far as I'm concerned, you win me over when you start quoting him. I'm a big fan of Malcolm X because he calls it. He says that, look, man, I'm not going to continue. And he tells that's what Malcolm X was about. Stop doing the same thing over and over again and aligning yourself with people who take you for granted. And Dr. Steve Perry is that guy. He says, he works, and that's the bad. I didn't mean to cut you off because it's such a passionate piece. Yeah. Right? Because a legislator who's on a black and Puerto Rican caucus. Sorry, every time somebody says that, it makes me laugh. Caucus. Yes. That was formed in 1976, 11 years after, if I'm correct, 11 years after the Civil Rights Movement. Yeah. To ensure that the black and brown community of Connecticut understands, they're in the game, if you will. Yeah. Right? As it comes to education, economics, health. But equally important to understand the electoral process. So here you have a man that was supposed to represent his constituents and didn't think his constituents were worth speaking to and says, even if he disagrees, these are my concerns. Whether you had a concern with Dr. Perry or the mission or the vision, you speak to your constituents. You speak to the ones that put you in office, and then maybe we could have came up with some type of solution. Well, Dr. Perry sent me a video where he confronted Matt Lesser and asked him Dr. Perry had said that he had heard a rumor that he was going to, I guess, not give his support to this initiative to get the money for the school. And Matt Lesser sort of, dodged around the answer, and Dr. Steve Perry pressed him a little more, and he ended up sort of saying nothing. The reason why I bring this up is because Mark in West Hartford, who does Mark Walsh reports online on X, he confronted Senator Matt Lesser, about two African-American girls at the Cromwell High School who were spat on, two black girls who were spat on, who were discriminated against and were being bullied by white kids at Cromwell High. It had been covered in Fox 61. They'd been covered in the Hartford Courant and in other publications. And Mark Walsh asked Matt Lesser about it and said, are you going to do anything about this? This is clearly a case of racial prejudice. And Matt Lesser paid no attention to it. In fact, refused to call Mark Walsh on an investigation into those claims by the girls, even though it was reported everywhere. He ignored it, which Mark was very, very adamant about, saying that Matt Lesser seems to be a person who says that he's for these things, but doesn't seem to act on them, which again leads me to this Dr. Steve Perry issue, where a lot of this stuff is performative on Senator Matt Lesser's part.
Very much so performative.
And what can be done about this? I know it's going to take an election. I know you folks are trying to get him removed from the Black and Puerto Rican caucus. Sorry, I can't believe he's on it. But anyway, even though you're trying to have him removed, is that it? Or what else do you want, or what else are you trying to do beyond that?
See, this is a two-part piece. So this is where the Black and Puerto Rican got to see. That's when you got to call them out too.
Yeah.
You understand? Mm-hmm. Because, see, if you look at the members of the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus, they represent Hartford, large urban district, New Haven, right? Large urban districts, right? So they have their own politics, but we have a smaller population. Our smaller urban towns get overlooked from the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus.
Really?
Oh, yes. Yes. Because, right, the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah.
So it's always the Hartfords. It's always the Bridgeports. It's always the New Havens. See, the problem with that is when they act up, the ripple effect comes to the black communities in smaller towns.
Gotcha.
Right? And so we need the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus leadership to want to know, okay, Matt, what's going on? Why? You're a member of our body, right? So that means he's an extension of them. And so why are there petitions about you? Why are there saying people that look like me, Doug McCorry's Hartford, Gary Winfield, Senator, they're of color. Do you not want to know why something is happening to people that look like you?
My question about that is the Doug McCrory thing. I understand he released a statement when this money did not go, and he said that it was a horrible thing that it had happened, but there wasn't. You okay over there, Shakir? Do you need some water? Okay, sorry about that. That there was no real effort beyond that. It was just like, oh, that's messed up, and everybody moved on. That part doesn't sit well with me, because we're looking at, okay, we got, that's okay, it's all right. We've got $4.7 million that was supposed to go to this school. And the fact that no one seems to be addressing that or even seeing it as a point of concern that it happened in the middle of the night. What do you take from that? What do you think the reason was? Because many people are saying that this was at the behest of Martin Looney.
Oh, very much so. Jan Hockadell, who was a candidate when I ran in 2024.
Right.
And so, right, so you have, and see, this is where the union's presence comes in.
Okay.
We have a very strong union, right? Matter of fact, I think the unions run our legislature. I think the legislators are guests.
Okay.
Right? And so these lawmakers, they get their votes from the union members. You understand? They have to have that crossover appeal.
Right.
So they're not going to go too far to address certain issues because they're worried about that bottom line. But see, but then they have to look at your mission. Your mission is to help a historically population of individuals that no matter where you put us, we're always at the bottom. DEI. You know, they're talking about, oh, we should be upset with DEI. Well, we weren't even benefiting from DEI.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm okay with that. Hold me accountable to merit. And that's what those kids and families did in Middletown.
That's the important part here.
That part.
Because the important part of this was, and again, this was not a DEI program. I think one of the biggest points that Dr. Steve Perry made was that this school did everything and beyond to qualify for this funding. They had done the thing that everyone wanted them to do and then some.
And then the laws, and here's what's interesting. The laws changed to make it harder for charters.
Wow.
Right? So think about that. And they did everything we were supposed to do. But the state of Connecticut don't have that same energy for some of these traditional schools. You got schools in Hartford with majority Spanish-speaking students, and you got majority English-speaking staff. Like, you have some of the craziest things happening in public schools. And so parents, you want to call us lazy. You want to say we don't care about our children. We think schools are babysitters. Middletown said, no, we don't think that. We're showing up. We have one high school bulging at the seams, racial tensions.
Really?
What happened? Tell her what happened to Lyric.
Sorry.
What they said about her daughter, Kia. Middletown.
A teacher at the school called her a gorilla and blamed it on a song and said she was singing a Chief Keef song
at
with
a track
the students. And all the students said they weren't singing no song with her, and she called them a gorilla.
Wow.
This is that goes to the tensions of Middletown. So you put that in a crowded high school with racial tensions, and what Matt is doing is so wrong, Senator Lesser, because he's dividing. He not only divided the communities, he's telling non-black folk, listen, I got your back. If you want me to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm not doing it for these people here. And so it has divided.
Is he an
Middletown.
interloper, Gwen? Is he an interloper? I think that's a fair assessment of who he is. Hear me out. Because a guy like that who would join the Black and Puerto Rican, sorry, try not to laugh every time I say it. I almost did it. Right? Sorry, can't make it up. So he's a part of this only to turn around and it's like, okay, I guess let's just lay it out this way. What has Matt Lesser done for the Black and Puerto Rican community since he's been a member of the caucus?
He's been to the Juneteenths. Now, he'll show up for your parades and your Juneteenths and your photo ops. He is good at that. And then they had the nerve, and I took offense. So, God rest Quentin Phipps. He's Williams now. He was a legislator in Middletown, a black man. He passed away in a fatal car accident.
Oh.
Matt Lesser just won his award.
Wow.
Which is just a couple of days ago.
So they gave him an award?
You can't make this
it's like
up.
Donald Sterling winning the NAACP Person of the Year. I'm sorry.
Think about the very man. Q worked across aisle. He was a proud Democrat, but he worked across aisle. We spoke all the time. He was still a proud black man, right? But yet you're getting his award. And the very people who want to get a good education to maybe one day grow up to be a Quentin Phipps, right, Williams, to maybe grow up to be a legislator one day, you're denying them access to the quality of instruction needed so they can be a productive citizen and maybe one day be.
So he screws over.
And then gets an award.
That's insanity.
But listen, that's the politics of Middletown. And see, they're playing a game. But the good news is, I'm your Huckleberry. Right? Because we are not going to allow this because, let me give you an example.
Okay.
Connecticut, there was a 2024 disparity study that came out from the Commission on Human Rights and Opportunity.
Okay.
They looked at construction.
Okay.
So out of
I think I know this. I think I know this commission.
So I'm talking about the future workforce here in Middletown.
Yeah. Sure.
Out of $544 million earmarked under $1 million, so these are smaller contracts under $1 million that was supposed to allocate to, small businesses.
Small businesses, sure.
Right. Black Americans, we're talking success, we're talking merit. Don't even think about the color for a second, but they're Black Americans. Quality, pay all the taxes, everything, got 0.57%.
Wow.
Out of $544 million.
In the state?
In the state of Connecticut.
Wow.
And then we're talking 21st century. We're talking, this report just came out in 2024.
Wow.
Here's what's interesting. We're having a major scandal with construction.
I heard about
Quid pro
this.
quo, right? So you got what's his name? Casanti, some other guy.
Oh,
Diamante,
yeah. I remember.
Thing,
Yeah.
All this fraud happening. And you don't want the black Americans to get access to the job, but they're the ones that are going to hire these students that you don't want to hire. You think the Matt Lesters of the world are going to hire the black and brown students of Middletown?
I don't think so.
No, but these construction companies will.
Right.
The small businesses will.
Sure, they want to.
So we need to have fair access. And I'm saying, forget the DEI merit. These are qualified, capable businesses who pay their taxes, who pay all these regulation fees. We got the most fees upon fees. They make up fees for the other fees. Right now, these companies are doing what they're supposed to do, and we had access. I'm talking to 0.5, not handouts. And so these are the very people that will support these young people, that become role models to the young people. Middletown can't even get into the vocational school. The vinyl tech that's in Middletown, 27 towns go to this school of 500.
Wow.
How many people of color do you think are in vocational schools across the state? Because we have gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And this is no shade to educators and administrators.
No, I get that. Yeah,
right?
You're making
I'm making a distinction from unions, leaderships. And I'm so disgusted when a Randy Weingarten of a president can visit our schools, but the United States Secretary of Education cannot.
Hold right there. We got more and more to get into right now. Gwen Samuel is on fire. We'll talk to her some more when we get back. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're 91 southbound coming into Hartford, delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Hartford Weathersfield line, a slight slowdown from 19 to 18 in Meriden. If you're traveling westbound 84, look for delays in Hartford just after 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush, 84 eastbound slowing approaching 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel, 291 eastbound slowing off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge into South Windsor. If you're 2 westbound, you'll see some slow traffic now, 1D up to the 84 West merge. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge. Also some delays on the northbound side of Route 9. Looks like it's slow from 34 up to the 72 interchange. Looks like we have an accident now on the southbound side of Route 9, and that's in New Britain. It looks like it's by exit 35, so some delays behind that back to the 72 interchange. If you are traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound's a little slow by 18, and again, a little tight as you move into Cheshire from 26 down to the 691 interchange. And if you're traveling into New Haven, southbound of the Parkway, a little tight 50 as you head down into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A cloudless sky for us, and we stay clear for the rest of today with a high of 52. Tonight, the stars will be out, but it'll be a low of 30 degrees, so it's a freeze across our area. Tomorrow, after a chilly start, it's mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 55. And tomorrow night, we're partly cloudy with a low of 35. Getting into Friday, sun and clouds mixed together. It's a breezy afternoon with a high of 62. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 50 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Waterbury's mayor is instructing officials to look into the city's fire hydrants. This week, firefighters encountered a pair of malfunctioning hydrants while trying to put out a house fire on Bennett Avenue. That led to at least a 20-minute delay, with the fire causing significant damage. Now, Mayor Paul Pernaruski wants updates from the police and fire chief as well as the water superintendent. Brad Millay said this week,
annual basis, we identify 50 to 60 hydrants that have problems. Given the fact that there are 4,000 hydrants, we don't generally know when a car backs into one or children or have vandalized it or when it doesn't work.
Pernaruski said this week testing hadn't been done in at least a decade. Among other things, the plan is to identify hydrants with insufficient flow and come up with a plan of remediation. Members of the state's largest teachers union spent a day lobbying at the Capitol. For one thing, they'd like to see the state finally increase how much it spends on schools. WTIC's Dave Mager reports.
Kate Diaz is president of the Connecticut Education Association. She says lawmakers are receptive to the idea of increasing the education cost sharing base from its level since 2013. That's $11,500 per student to something closer to 16,000.
We have a system that's really being stretched to its very limit. It cannot be sustained in its current funding model.
She's hopeful for some increase this time. Democratic State Rep Kevin Brown is among those on board.
The caucuses, the House and Senate Republicans and Democratic caucuses, there's agreement that something needs to be done.
Neither the governor's proposed 2027 budget or the Appropriations Committee version include the increase. The thinking is that could change in negotiations. In Hartford, Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Spokesman says Governor Lamont, quote, looks forward to continuing the conversation on ways we can reduce pressure on local property taxpayers and promote greater educational equity. Ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran is holding for now. This as Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz again after Israel bombed Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. At the White House, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said,
"The president will only make a deal that serves in the best interests of the United States of America, and he as a negotiating team will focus on this effort over the next 2 weeks, so long as the Strait of Hormuz remains open with no limitations or delays."
The United States and Iran both claimed victory after reaching the agreement, and world leaders expressed relief even as more drones and missiles hit Iran and Gulf Arab countries. Long Island architect has admitted to a string of killings. Rex Heuermann was in court today. He pled guilty to killing 7 women from 1993 to 2011. He also admitted to killing an 8th victim while in court. Heuermann was arrested in 2023 and connected to the murders through DNA. State Supreme Court Justice Timothy Mazie asked Heuermann a series of questions before he would accept his guilty plea.
Do you waive your right to appeal voluntarily of your own free will?
Yes, I do.
Are you entering this plea bargain voluntarily of your own free will?
Yes, I am.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or coerced you into pleading guilty?
No.
He'll be sentenced in June to life in prison without the possibility of parole. There's a month left in the legislative session, and majority Democrats gave an update on the proposed homeschooling bill that has proved controversial. There's word of a possible compromise to remove a portfolio requirement to demonstrate what students are learning while keeping a requirement to require the Department of Children and Families monitoring. The formation of the bill comes following the emergence last year of 2 cases involving students who were kept at home and allegedly abused. One of those children died. State House Speaker Matt Ritter says that's the focus of the bill.
We understand it's a small portion of it, but we're trying to, how do we stop that? And we do think there is a nexus, and the Child Advocate has said this, between the sudden withdrawal of kids from school at an age like 11 or 12, and then if you were to look at prior DCF involvement, there is a nexus there. And I think we're going to focus on that right now.
He says the majority of the homeschool families aren't bad actors and shouldn't be worried about the bill, but the families testified otherwise earlier in the session, insisting they haven't done anything wrong. Markets up on Wall Street today. The Dow gained over 1,300 points, NASDAQ picked up over 600, and the S&P was up 165. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio. We are going to continue our conversation with Gwen Samuels, Shakia Dickerson. Both of them are here. They've got so much stuff to talk about, what they're doing. They're not just complaining, ladies and gentlemen. They are working and they are working double time. Now, you just gave me this stethoscope that is around my neck. Who is this from?
Yes, Dr. Chai, Amy Chai, is running for Congress for the Republicans.
Okay. And she said, please give this to Reese on the radio.
Please give this to Reese on the radio because we need a health check of Connecticut. So when your guests come in, check and see if they have a heart or a pulse.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, you got it. That's what I'll do from now on. Maybe we'll take a photograph with every person that comes in here.
Yes,
from now
CT1.
on.
She represents CT1,
Okay.
Congressional District 1.
Well, I appreciate her giving me gifts. Just so anybody knows, I'm not accepting gifts, but no, she wanted me to make sure. I also want to point out that
yes.
Gwen and Shakia bought this for me. It's a lit up R. I'm showing it to everybody on Facebook and online at reesontheradio.com. It's a lit up R because
you're putting a spotlight on the issues, and we thank you for that, sir.
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you so much, and I appreciate this as well. I'm going to keep it lit up right here. Everybody else has got something in this office, but I don't.
Yeah,
so
see,
I'm
Middletown in the house.
It's nice to, trust me, it's nice to be recognized.
And thank you for giving us a voice, sir, because mainstream media is keeping a lot of this quiet. And we need media to be the voice of the underdog, of our children, of our elderly, right? And so be fair to the process. Because, if we're good enough to watch your shows and you get your awards because we stream in, how about give us a voice while you're at it?
Let me tell you something. I'm going to say probably the most arrogant thing that I can say to the mainstream news media. We are about to be the mainstream. That's our job here. Our job here is to make sure that they no longer are the mainstream. Because if they're not giving the people a voice, what good are they? That's the way I look at it. Let's take a break. We're going to get into another check of weather and traffic. More with Gwen Samuel and with Shakia Dickerson when we return. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, the southbound side of 91 coming into Hartford, delays approaching 33 down to 32 A&B. A little tight again, 27 to 28 on the Hartford-Wethersfield line. Slow traffic again in Middletown. I should say actually approaching 19 in Meriden down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Now the westbound side of 84, you're locked up approaching the Bulkley Bridge, slowing out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound slows about a half mile before 46 an Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbounds tight, 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 2 eastbounds a little tight as you move off of I-84 out to exit 3 in East Hartford. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays approaching Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing by exit 18. Again, some sluggish traffic, 26 down to the 691 interchange in Cheshire. 84 westbound in Waterbury, a little slow, 22 to the Mixmaster. And southbound on the Parkway, you've got delays from 51 in Hamden down into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we head through tonight, we are clear as we get down to 30 degrees for our low. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 55. And as we head through tomorrow night, still cleared. Only a few clouds with a low of 35. Then we start to turn things around, warm it up a bit for Friday. Sunshine mixed in with a few clouds. It's a pleasant day, a little breezy in the afternoon as we hit a high of 62. Saturday will be breezy, clouds to start off the day, then more sunshine for the afternoon, and a high of 62 degrees. Partly sunny on Sunday, close to 60 yet again. Right now it is 51 in Canton, 51 in Manchester, and 50 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brian Jackman here for Serta Pro Painters. Listen, I had an incredible experience with them. They gave me a great estimate. They were there on time, and when they came to paint our kitchen, they were in and out, and when they were gone, it was like they were never there, except they left a beautiful kitchen. Maybe it's time for you to take a look at their spring sales event. You can get 10% off qualifying projects through May the 15th. Serta Pro Painters, they're independently owned and operated right here in our community, so you might want to give them a call. Start spring off right. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Serta with a C.
Join the Hartford Symphony Orchestra April 10th through the 12th and experience Brahms' Third at the Bushnell in Hartford. From the dramatic power of Berlioz' King Lear Overture to the electrifying energy of composer and pianist Clarissa Saad performing her own concerto Flow, to the sweeping beauty beauty of Brahms Symphony No. 3, ending in a thrilling finale. Led by music director Carolyn Kwan, this is more than a concert, it's an experience. For tickets, call 860-987-5900 or visit hartfordsymphony.org.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back and we're live. Shakia Dickerson is here. Gwen Samuel is here. Both of them are fighting, and we're talking tooth and nail, fighting really, really hard to remove Matt Lesser from a caucus of Black and Puerto Ricans.
Right.
Because it's unheard of. It's just unheard of. But you're trying to do that, but of course you're trying to do much more than that behind the scenes, because again, it's not just about removing some symbolic role there. It's anything that is detrimental to the actual caucus and what they're supposed to do. You looked up the mission.
Yes.
Do you have it?
Everyone in Connecticut to listen to the mission.
Mm-hmm.
The Connecticut Legislative Black and Puerto Rican Caucus was formed in 1976 to promote and assist minorities in becoming more actively involved in the political process and in attaining political office, and to raise the economic potential for minorities and empowerment of the minority community in the state. Very distinct, and it talks about economics, health. And here this gentleman, now mind you, this was done right before the Civil Rights Act, 1965.
Yeah.
Right? So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And this man is literally voting against education, which is the foundation of any household.
Absolutely.
An educated household, an educated citizenry.
It's a prosperous one.
Yeah, exactly. Which means if you can't get that traditional job, you got that hunger to become self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
No one is saying, but Matt is playing a dangerous game, because he's saying, listen, you're victims. I'm here to save you. And as long as you voted for him, you were fine. But when the unions and everyone said, no, Matt, you can't support those parts of your constituents, he went in lockstep. And if you're going to be lockstep with the loonies and anyone else, the unions, and again, this is not about educators and administrators. This is about the private entity. They are a private entity, and they get more access to our public schools than our elected officials. And so Matt needs to go.
It's an insane thing to see it. Let me ask you this, Gwen. Do you believe, and Shakia, chime in, of course, do you see this as, is there anything that's sort of tinkering around in your head that says this was done because Middletown is such a small area for Black and brown people, that they were able to get away with this in a sense because it didn't happen in Hartford or Bridgeport? Do you feel like that was, like, you got taken advantage of because you're such a small minority in this town?
I feel like they took advantage of us because we are such a small minority, but a lot of us don't speak up.
Right.
And he knows that if I do this, they're not going to do nothing about it.
You know why? Because you give donations to the church.
You have a lot of people that say that they want to do something about it.
Yeah.
And then they don't do nothing until it's too late. And right now it's at that late point where everybody's now coming in and saying, I want my church involved. I want this person involved, that person involved. And it's like, where were you when we first started this war with him?
Yeah.
you were nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
You weren't trying to say anything.
Yeah.
But now it's at its end game, and it looks like we're about to be getting him off of this caucus. Now you want to say something. Now you want to say, oh, I want to chime in.
Yeah.
Let me say something. Oh, I want my part. I want to say something.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you
really
listening to
thinking
Shakia right now? Who's been saying this to you? Who's been saying this to you? You know what? I've got a saying. Do you remember the rapper Ed O.G.? He used to have this line. He used to say, "Where were you when we were riding a bus?" Because that's like, where were you in the beginning? When you guys were putting your neck out, nobody wanted to hear. All of a sudden, you started to get traction, and everybody wants to be down now. They're like, oh, it's a movement? Oh, how can I be a part of it? It's like, where were you in the beginning? We begged you guys to be a part of it. You gave us no play. Now, all of a sudden, somebody's paying attention, and they're just going, oh, we were always down with you, Shakia. Yeah, we were always there. It's insane. It drives me nuts. But you know what? I give you props, Shakia. I give you props, Gwen. Why? Because you didn't need them in the first place. Because your mission, you were noble from the start. You always had a plan. It's like, I'm going to do this even as an army of one or an army of two, even if the rest of them don't care.
Think about that.
Yeah.
You think about the Sojourner Truths. Man, there were many. Being an advocate is a lonely fight.
Absolutely.
In a very political state. When I formed the Connecticut Parents Union, I formed it January 14th, 2011. During that time, Connecticut was arresting parents for putting their kids in different school districts. So when you talk about...
And this is before the, was it Chef versus O'Neill?
Yeah, I think Chef came even before 2011.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, 1996. And yes, you're right.
Chef was before 2011, but Connecticut was a state that if a parent put their child in a different school zone, they could face up to 20 years. We won't even address villainous, criminal, undocumented folk, and I don't mean to go down that rabbit hole.
No, but I get
just
you.
Trying to say,
yeah, what they're considering a priority is a parent who wants to take their kid and put them in a school where the kids will
meet their needs,
right?
And then school choice. So see, this is about Steve. This is how I know Capital Prep. This fight is directed at Dr. Perry against choice.
Right.
See, it's the overarching fight of school
Always
choice.
is.
Right,
Always
and
is.
I'm telling us, I don't care what school in a school district. If taxpayers are paying for it, you better be able to perform. But yet there's a double standard when it comes to the charters and not even magnets. You know, a little different with magnets, right?
Sure.
They're flagships and they're pretty schools, the Butterfly Sanctuary in Hartford. And here's what's crazy in Hartford. You got the mad fancy magnet schools, and then Hartford students were turned away from the empty seats. And then they were saying, because we have to have the white suburban students coming in. And white children saying, we got good schools in our neighborhood. Why would a parent bus their child all the way to Hartford when they got great schools in their suburban communities? Because they're holding their tax dollars accountable to their schools.
Yeah.
But in Hartford, your urban districts, the small towns like Meriden, they're like, oh, you're outnumbered, and you don't vote collective. And you don't, and that part there. So that's why Matt is doing it. If Matt thought we were a concerted effort, Matt would think twice. But he's about to learn.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, as you heard me say, because I know you've been checking out the show for the last couple of days. Thank you so much for that. But you know that I was saying that there's always this sort of understanding within the party. It's that, you know, what are they going to do? Right. In a choice of three, they only pick two, and that is vote for us or stay home. And again, we have got to get that sort of, we've got to get these people in these communities to go to the third option. As much as it may pain them, it's not a popularity contest like, well, did you vote for the Republican? Look, no offense, but that is my private vote. And I don't need to sort of win brownie points.
And that's how we grew up. Everyone because politics is so volatile.
Yeah.
Right? Is why our ancestors, the Gen X, grew up with, no one knew your party. You went into your poll, you did your thing, you went home and have dinner.
Yep.
Now we're resulting in violence. But see, I'm going to push back on you a little bit.
Go on.
When it comes to voting, I think people are they've checked out. It's not that people don't care, right? They're seeing that their vote is not mattering.
I'm so glad you said that because I agree with you.
Right, and so because of that, but if Middletown votes collective, oh, they can do damage to Matt.
Well, okay. Well, listen, this is what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I just got to send your names to Roland real quick. You're right. There are a lot of people who have checked out. But my pushback on your pushback would be this, right? And I tried to explain this as I was talking to Donald, who listens to the show religiously, but he's a Democrat. Can't stand me. Politically can't stand me, but he loves this show and makes it appointment radio for him. But he and I have this discussion all the time. And I said, look, what do we know inside the black and brown communities when it comes to votes? And the people who don't, even though they're registered, they all say the same thing. My vote doesn't count. And my response to them is, okay, why does your vote not count? And they're just like, well, they don't care about my vote. And I go, well, let's dig a little deeper. If your vote is overwhelmingly for 60, 70 years for the same thing, in other words, never bartering your vote, right? Just going here this way, going that way. At least, sort of shopping around. Like if a party knows that there's only, again, back to the 2 choices out of 3, you're only going to pick not showing up or voting for me, then you have no leverage. But if everybody in the Democrat Party who is African-American had decided one day and told the Democrats and meant it.
That part.
There you go. Woke up and said, not today, Democrats. We're going to go with the Republicans. Imagine what Martin Looney and Matt Lesser would do if somebody came to them and said polling data that said, you know what, the African-American vote in Connecticut is going to overwhelmingly go Republican. What happened?
And the ripple effect. So let's take that one thing out.
Exactly.
See, and what we can do is those who align with this issue in other cities, put your Democrats on notice.
Yep.
Right? In other words, Matt is the low-hanging fruit, but we should be taking some other folk out too.
Couldn't agree with you more.
In other words, if you're going to be silent, then you're complicit.
Right.
And if you're complicit, then we're voting for the other guy. I started this whole campaign, vote for the other guy or gal. I don't care who it is. We got to vote informed. You got to want to know.
Right.
Like we stood lockstep.
Look, it is a legal form. And the way I look at it like this, let me appeal to the criminal element here. Your vote has got to be treated like extortion. I mean, that's it.
And
you know what I'm saying? It's got to be treated like that. It's got to say, hey, we voted for you for 60 years and we got pennies. We got scraps. Okay? And guess what? Now I'm going to say to the other guy, buddy, what do you got? And I was saying it earlier before you got here. Republicans have got to understand that, look, does the African-American vote hinge on what can you do for them or what have you done for me lately? Yes. You do have to barter with them. You have to offer them something. It doesn't have to be reparations, but it has to be something, right?
Taking further than that, just talk to the community.
That's true, but it's got to be. Listen, the African-American community is being sold on this idea because the Democrats work that way. They've sold on the idea that just says, if you vote for me, you'll get this, that, and the third. You want a tax credit, we'll give you this. It's always got to be something in return. And Democrats, African-Americans have always said, well, they seem to care more about the people. Well, the Republicans know that, and the Democrats are showing you their playbook. This is how we get their vote. Republicans have got to say, all right, what are we offering them now? Because we have to at least turn it into, and I know there are going to be some people who are apprehensive and saying, no, they're just pulling our legs. My response to that would be but then aren't they? Aren't they pulling your leg? Because it seems that they only show up every 4 years and keep telling you what they are going to give.
And no one's running against them. See,
exactly.
The dangers of this is they know we're going to vote for them.
Oh, I know.
You understand? And that is so dangerous.
Yep.
Because that means I can spit on you.
Yep.
I can do, which they have.
Yep.
Right? $544 million. And black Americans certified small business in Connecticut got 0.57. And the Democrats will say, you know what? And I ain't even worried about you. Because you still...
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yes, exactly. What are you going to do?
You know what I'm saying?
I wish that people would understand that. Just like I put it to like this. It's like being slapped in the face by a bully and them looking at you going, what are you going to do about it? You're going to do nothing.
That part.
It's like everyone's going to be mad. It's just like, it's like I look around and I'm just like, yeah, what am I going to do?
That's like the movie Untouchables, right? With Charlie, he's like, what are you prepared to do?
Yes.
So Middletown black community, Middletown brown community, people who are advocates who care about children's well-being, they have to put on a Sean Connery piece. What are you prepared to do about it? Matt showed you his cards. What are we prepared to do? Because if Matt gets back in office, right, it sends a message that we can say and do what we want to you, and there will be no accountability.
Ladies,
think about the fraud in Hartford. You can't even make this stuff up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to do this real quick, okay? I'm going to play the applause for Gwen Samuel. Let me explain to you why. If you missed this, you know nothing about Reese on the radio. She just quoted one of the greatest characters in one of the greatest movies ever known to man. She quoted Sean Connery in The Untouchables. I'm just going to applaud you again. What are you prepared to do? What are you prepared to do?
Oh, Dave.
That's what I love.
And he was bleeding. You understand?
What
He was
are
on
you
the ground.
prepared to do? It's my favorite line. It is. It's a great. Other than that's the Chicago way. That's my favorite. That's my other one of my favorite lines. Thank Dawn and Shakir back. We're going to do some more of this because I also want to talk about the other things you got planned. You have an event coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yes,
I think
a
about
tax
2 weeks.
sale. It's a taxpayer's tax sale.
Yeah,
because we need to help these underdog candidates.
Well, there you go. I want to make sure that we promote that and everything else that it is that you got going on. I don't know if you guys do you do the whole website? I know you have a podcast. I want to talk about that a little bit as well.
Yes.
On the other side of this break. So those of you who are just joining us, we are in the house with Shakia Dickerson and with Gwen Samuel. They are the ladies who have signed a petition or written a petition to get Senator Matt Lesser off of the Black and Puerto Rican caucus that I promise you I'll stop laughing at. But they're trying to remove this. It's a laughable thing. Yes, exactly. They are trying to do that. So we're going to talk to them some more. We're hanging out with them today. So make sure that you come back after we get back. It is a pleasure to have these ladies here. And I want you to support them and support their efforts, especially if you're listening in Middletown. Please get behind these ladies and get this done because we need to get that funding for this prep school. Because of the good work that they're doing, and we are working for their future. Let's get back to Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
We didn't get in there so you can get in with us.
You weren't there when we were riding the bus. He knew it. Yeah.
Step off, Matt Ritter.
That's right.
That's a white guy. I'm offended.
Listen
too.
to me. I
Trust
love
me.
the fact that you knew that line from NOG. You weren't there when we were riding the bus. That's a great line. NOG's a friend, so I appreciate that, Mark.
And think about Chef. Chef is now under attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Big time, because all this money, they don't pour it in millions.
We got to let him get in traffic. We'll talk about it in a minute. Hey, Mark, thank you, man.
I know who your fill-in's going to be when you take a day off. Reese, thank you. This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 slowing 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28. More slow traffic 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Westbound 84 is tied up just after 56 out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound is tied up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. If you are traveling into East Hartford, just a little slow Route 2 westbound as you merge with 84 West. If you are traveling into New Britain right now, 9 southbound, an accident down by exit 35, and that is blocking the left and center lane. Stay to the right there, delays back to the 72 interchange. 9 northbound, tight 32 in Berlin up to exit 35 in New Britain. I'm sure rubbernecking at that southbound crash. 84 eastbound in Waterbury, you've got some slow traffic as you move from 17 down to exit 18. If you're traveling into New Haven right now, southbound Parkway delays from exit 50 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants in just one visit. Open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A cloudless sky for us, and we stay clear for the rest of today with a high of 52. Tonight, the stars will be out, but it'll be a low of 30 degrees, so it's a freeze across our area. Tomorrow, after a chilly start, it's mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 55. And tomorrow night, we're partly cloudy with a low of 35. Getting into Friday, sun and clouds mixed together. It's a breezy afternoon with a high of 62. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30, 50 degrees in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. East Hartford police say they have arrested a suspect in connection with several police pursuits, multiple thefts across multiple jurisdictions. Just before 8 last night, they picked up 40-year-old Kyron Williams of Hartford. Officers stopped Williams' car on Main Street. He fled on foot. They tracked him down to a nearby backyard on Wells Street. That's when police say Williams became combative, fought with a police dog. They used pepper spray to finally apprehend him. He is wanted on warrants with the state police as well as out of Wethersfield and Rhode Island. Student brought an unloaded gun to school in Middletown today. Police there got the call around 10 to the high school to check out the report. They say the student had the gun in a backpack. A shelter-in-place order was put in effect during the investigation, later lifted. Still waiting to hear whether any charges will be filed. Oil prices back down below $100 a barrel. Stock markets surged as well after President Trump pulled back from his threat to bomb power plants and bridges in Iran. The Dow finished the day up well over 1,300 points. Rex Heuermann, the Manhattan architect charged with murdering 7 women, pled guilty to the crimes in court today. He also admitted to an 8th killing. At a news conference afterwards, Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney said the Gilgo Beach serial killer has finally been brought to justice.
This defendant walked among us, play acting as a normal suburban dad, when in reality, all along, he was obsessively targeting innocent women for death.
Heuermann is expected to be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in June. State House Speaker Matt Ritter says lawmakers are dropping a controversial bid to require homeschool families to submit a curriculum to their local school district every year. However, the bill will still require the State Department of Children and Families to notify when a child is pulled out of school. As we indicated earlier, the Dow was up over 1,300 points today. NASDAQ up 617, and the S&P was up 2.5% to 165, or at 165. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Life unfolds in ways you never quite expect. Starting a new business, getting remarried, being hurt on the job, or through personal injury. Each time, you're left searching for someone new to trust. But what if you had a full-service law firm that knows you, and a firm that can represent all of your legal needs? With BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Visit bpslawyers.com. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Proud full-service law partner of UConn Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearis is responsible for the content of this ad.
Brian Shackman here for Allaire Elder Law. A lot of people are busy, right? And you put off things like your will or trust. So you say, oh, I can do it tomorrow. I can do it next week. I can do it next year. It's not a problem until it is a problem, and you know what I'm talking about. That's where Haley Allaire and her team at Allaire Elder Law come in. They can help you with power of attorney, wills, trust, probate, Medicaid, life care planning, everything. Attorney Allaire and her team, they're local. You can access them anytime you want, and they will get you set up so you don't need to worry. AllaireElderLaw.com. That's ALLAIRE elderlaw.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio. Gwen is actually on the phone with a future guest that's going to be on the program. Deborah D. is in the chat room. She says, I want to hear more about the fraud in Connecticut, especially with the construction companies. Well, Deborah, I'm always listening to you folks, and that's what Gwen and I are doing now. We're just had a conversation with who's the person we just spoke to?
Colin Dawkins. He's a small black-owned construction company, and he's led the fight in Connecticut to ensure fairness, fair access to the contracts.
Now, I think I just heard him briefly say he was going to be out of town for a little bit.
Yep, he'll be out of town this week, so he'll be back this weekend.
Okay, so he'll be back. Okay, so we are planning on getting him on next weekend. So Deborah, please tune in for that, and I'll keep you updated as well. It's important for me to do this now. Forgive me, ladies, because I got to mention that you can be at the 11th Commandment GOP gubernatorial debate on on April 30th at Stadium 15 at the ballroom at Stadium 15. That is April 30th at 7 o'clock. You can be there for a debate with Betsy DeVos. Why would I mention that? Betsy McCoy. Betsy DeVos, because we were talking about what's her name? Betsy McCoy and Ryan Fazio. That debate takes place again April 30th. It is on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock. It will be simulcast here on WTIC, but you can go. If you go to WTIC.com, you go to More and Contest, fill out that form, and you and a guest will be chosen to be there live in the studio audience, brought to you by AARP. So make sure that you go online and do that now. There are plenty of tickets and plenty of opportunities for you to go. And Gwen, I am hoping that you will be there as my guest. I want you to be there so you can meet those candidates.
I would definitely be there.
Okay.
I'm in it to win it.
Okay, I know you are. Shakia, I know you don't drive, Shakia, but you are definitely invited if you'd like to come there as my special guest.
You'll be my +1.
Yeah. Would you like to come, Shakia?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Great.
There you go. And you guys get to meet the wife finally, because I've been telling her all about you guys for the longest.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because
and we like to thank the wife.
No, she is really, really excited, because after you and I spoke over the weekend, she was just like, I said, I think I got Gwen Samuel coming. She was like, really? She was like, yeah. I was like, so she was excited on what you ladies are doing. She likes fighting. She's not a fan of Matt. She's not a fan.
Okay.
She had to meet him once. I'll tell you off the air what happened. Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll be back in a little bit. Again, Gwen Samuel is here. Shakia Dickerson is here. Mark Christopher is here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. No more NOG stuff.
Sing it.
Be a father. It's a really, really good
Roy.
It's a great song. That is a Roy Ayers sample in there. See? Yeah. I know that.
The great vibraphonist, or what was his instrument?
I don't know. I don't know what exactly.
The marimbas or something.
Something like that. The marimbas.
Like yeah. All right, early 90s. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound locked up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing from 1D up to the 84 West merge. 9 northbound's a little tight at the Aragoni Bridge. 9 southbound, look out for an accident in New Britain down by exit 35. Right now, the left and center lanes are blocked, so you want to stay to the right there. 9 northbound, rubbernecking from 32 in Berlin up to the accident site in New Britain. If you're traveling 84 eastbound into Waterbury, slowing 17 to 18, a little tight again by the 691 interchange. Southbound 95 is tight from 46 down to 44 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by NJM Insurance Group.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than getting stuck in an elevator with an overshare,
bean burrito for lunch.
You have Insuranoia. You should have NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
WTIC weather.
Heading through tonight, we stay clear and we hit a low of 30 degrees, which means we fall below freezing across the area tonight. Tomorrow, a chilly start, mostly sunny though and breezy with a high of 55. Tomorrow night will be clear to partly cloudy with a low of 35. As we get into Friday, sunshine mixing with a few clouds. It's a pleasant day and a little breezy in the afternoon with a high of 62. Saturday, the weekend starts off nice. Clouds giving way to some sunshine for the afternoon and a high of 62. And Sunday will finish on a good note with partly sunny skies and a high of 59. Right now it's 49 in Vernon, 50 in Farmington, and 50 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Melissa Constanzer in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. This week we're going to talk about very, very important things in retirement and life planning. Wills, estates, do I need it? What can I do? Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummies, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Sex, intimacy, love. These three things are critical to a good relationship. That's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or visit northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 Americans, resolved more than $2.3 billion in tax debt, and back every case with their ironclad resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, guys, we are back and we are live. Shakia Dickerson is here, and Gwen Samuel are here, and they're talking about this. Shakia, you were talking to me behind the scenes. So just so people know that the Capital Prep School was supposed to be built in Middletown, and that was what was promised to them. And again, this funding got pulled in the in the sort of 12 minutes before midnight because Matt Lesser, according to this petition, said the money's not going to Middletown, the school's not happening there. Shakia, behind the scenes, you were saying that they had another, is it a prep school that's called Legacy Prep or something like that?
It's another school. It's Legacy Academy.
Okay.
It's operating out of one of their, I believe it's the old Kegwin building.
Okay.
They're using the old Kegwin building for this Legacy Academy.
Which is it's supposed to be a small school so that kids get more hands-on.
Is it remedial?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, usually those schools are what they call not a magnet school. I guess it's sort of like a magnet school, but there's another one, satellite school. Is that the kind of deal that they're called?
No, it's like a sister school to the high school, operating on a smaller scale.
Okay. More hands-on for the kids, smaller classrooms.
Smaller classrooms.
Uh-huh.
When they can't deal with the kids in Middletown High,
right,
they're placing them into that school.
Right, and you said that while your child was now put into this Legacy school, was because your child was struggling at the regular school.
Yes, both of them.
Okay, both of your kids were.
Two kids that were at the regular school.
Right, and your issue about this was that the whole purpose of Capital Prep was to do the thing that they didn't have to build this academy for, because they were going to address those problems that children were having at the traditional school.
I call that the
Capital Prep would have been so good for my children and other children,
right?
Because it focuses on the kids learning and how they're doing in school.
Right.
These other schools do not care about our kids. They're pushing our kids through school. I know this firsthand because I was pushed through school.
Hey, I know the drill. and you're not alone.
School,
yeah.
And they didn't care. I taught myself, so it's not about me. It's about the kids. It's about the kids not going back and doing anything that I had to go through.
Yeah.
But you got to find it interesting.
Yeah.
Or you can come up with legacy. It's just amazing how you can come up with the solution when you needed the solution a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with the hen guarding the hen house.
Right.
The very people who barely like our children have now made legacy. You understand?
And it
then
stays within-
behavior. But listen to when it comes. It's always the behavior. Dr. Perry takes some of the hardest. And again, I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying he's a panacea.
Right.
But what I'm saying is he takes kids where they are and taps into it. It sounds remedial to me. I hope it's not.
No.
But
I get what you're saying is that and as Shakia is saying here, is that this was a school that she trusted to do the work. And what they did was totally squander that and keep the old model and call it something new. They kept it unionized. It's a smaller school under the union umbrella, right? So it sort of feeds that beast.
And so why have you don't perform? So let's just say
Yeah.
it doesn't perform well.
Right.
They'll still get the same money.
That's exactly. And the results.
Extension of middle, the same results.
Exactly. Same results when this school clearly knows what it's doing. It has the results. And as you said, you guys, what you were saying and what Dr. Steve Perry is saying is that they did everything they were supposed to do to get the funding. They were allowed. That's the reason why the lawsuit. And they were approved.
And I'm talking about, understand, what they were approved of was jumping over hoops because charters are treated very different from the traditional schools.
Yeah.
And my problem is, forget the school model. If you got a tax dollar, you better be able to deliver.
Yeah.
Right? And so then, and that's why I was so upset when the U.S. Secretary of Education came.
Yeah.
I would have loved for the Middletown students to meet the United States Secretary of Education.
Absolutely.
To talk about their things. But because of politics, the only thing that kept Linda McMahon out of Connecticut public schools was the fact that we are democratically controlled.
Yeah.
And they were being bullied. They wanted to prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
The families had the right to see. If the families didn't want to do it, then you opt out.
Right.
We can't opt out of everything, but you could have opted out
They
of
said
that.
they stole the opportunity from the kids here, which it shouldn't have been about politics, which is crazy in and of itself. But you're right. You contacted Leo Terrell. I want to make sure that we do
Yes.
this. Talk to me about the Leo Terrell, because a lot of people know him from the Sean Hannity show, but he is now, I think he works for the Trump administration.
Yep, he is the chairman of Task Force to combat
Semitism?
Semitism, and the Office of Assistant Attorney General. Office of Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Justice. That's where he
Right,
is.
because he works under Harmeet Dillon
Yes.
in the Department of Civil Rights.
The Civil Rights Division, and that's why I reached out. So,
Talk to me about that.
behold, I'm sitting here. I'm hearing, Linda McMahon is coming, and say I didn't see Linda McMahon. I saw the U.S. Secretary of Education. I'm talking about the role.
Yeah.
And then they're hearing, the families didn't want them. And I said, what do you mean didn't want her? I said, what do you mean the families? If I do a poll, what letter notified them? Because I teach as an advocate, you always speak to the decision makers.
Sure you do.
I've testified before Congress, and I wasn't even the chosen one. The Democrats were the chosen one to speak, and they were like, oh, we don't want to speak to the Republicans. As a black parent, we don't get that luxury. We need to speak to whoever makes decisions on behalf of our children.
That's right.
So the U.S. Secretary of Education comes to Connecticut, not the janitor, not the president, Randy Weingarten from the AFT, but the United States Secretary of Education. And we had the nerve to turn her away.
Yeah.
So I sent, and I'm going to send you the letter because I sent it I filed a civil rights complaint with the Connecticut State Department of Education. They've already responded, say they are investigating. And I sent it to the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. Because what we are not going to do is teach our children not to speak to those who are in decision-making authority that could actually improve their life.
Absolutely.
And so you said no, so that is nothing but politics.
Yeah.
And so they talk about the families did it, but you didn't turn away Randy Weingarten. When I found Randy Weingarten was going to Benjamin Franklin, where my child was, she had a whole banner. It wasn't even President Obama on the wall. Like, you got the president of the... I thought I was in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And this is the dangers of politics. And that's why I tell folks, granted, we may need supports, but the black community, the brown community, the poor community, the rural community, the disenfranchised, and the marginalized must understand one thing. Whoever feeds you controls you. Because if you notice, the first thing they go after when they have cuts, we're cutting food stamps. Oh, no, that's why you got to vote for me. You understand? They use fear. They use survival against the very communities who are trying to put food on their table. People would prefer to work than have a handout all day long. Because then you tell me who I can love, all this old weird stuff happening at the state level. I don't even understand what is happening. I think we're in a comedy show.
Yeah.
But the problem is people are dying. People are hurting. Depression is off the hook. That's why we need change. That's why I'm looking at Dr. Amy Chai. I'm looking at Jonathan DeBarros. I don't care if you're an independent, a Republican, a Democrat. I don't care what party you are. If you are going to represent the people, then they will vote November 3rd. If you're not aligning with the people of Connecticut, then you need to find another position. All these career politician Congress need to go. I went to Jahana Hayes. I used to support Senator Murphy. I was one of his strongest supporters. And then this man is on national television saying, I care about the undocumented the most. So what do you think I did? Look up the Webster Dictionary and what does the most mean? Because I was like, is he saying, and I know this man to be smart. So I had to look in the Webster. I was like, did he mean the most like somebody else?
Yeah.
And that means I care about the undocumented more than I care about the citizens of this state because you said the most.
That's right.
And these are the dangers we are seeing when they are drawing lines in the sand with anyone that disagree against the majority. And last I would say, this is not about Democrat or Republican with me. This is about facts. And the facts is this. Democrats are the majority. And anything you have the majority, that means you have one set of thinking, one set of ideologies in a state that has over 3 million people that is diverse. This is the most dangerous body right now because no one speaks out against the fraud. Hartford is off the hook with fraud. And then they're talking about, we got to bail Hartford out. And then it's just craziness. Just craziness.
By the way, I just want to let you know that everybody in my chat room is going, who is this woman? I like her. Who is she? This is Gwen Samuel, ladies and gentlemen. I told you, I warned you. I said to everybody, I put it on X, I put it on Facebook. I said, do not miss Wednesday's show. I think I delivered. I think I did. I told you you didn't want to miss it, right? And it was going to be interesting. A lot of people are going to be talking to me after this show, and they're going to be talking to Gwen. By the way, before we get out of here, because we got about less than about 5-6 minutes. Carmela says she is fire, and they love you.
Thank you.
Talk to me about the event that's going on, the tax
the taxpayers' tax sale.
Yes.
So to every taxpayer in Connecticut, you know we are bleeding taxation. Matter of fact, we are taxation without representation. Let's just start there.
Okay, you got it.
So because of that doesn't mean we don't have to pay our bills. So we're having a taxpayer tax sale. Stay tuned for the location.
Okay.
Right, but it will be a parking lot. It's April 25th, 8 to 4. And we're trying to get Reese to cover it.
I'll be there.
But you're also going to be able to meet candidates. And then we're going to have family activities. Dora's going to be visiting us. We're going to have reading circles. If you are running for office and you don't show up while your constituents are out here trying to make a living at a tax sale, then do not expect us to show up for you November 3rd. So show up on April 25th so that we can meet the candidates. We're going to be making cards for our soldiers. We're going to be making cards for our elderly. Check on your elderly. We just had another convalescent home closed and had to displace. Can you imagine being a senior citizen, seeing war on the news, seeing all this fighting? I'm sure our elderly are afraid. So let us show love. And I'm going to say this, and I don't care if anyone listens. Thank you to the president for going and get that one troop. That is someone's son or daughter that got lost in war. So we are going to show our military that we appreciate what they do on domestic soil and foreign, and we will be making them cards on April 25th because we appreciate our military. We done lost our minds.
I will keep everybody posted on that event. No, you're good. You're good. Also, if you want to hear more of Gwen Samuel, you can catch her on her podcast. Where is it? Is it on
Facebook.
YouTube?
Yeah, I do random podcasts. It's Real Talk with Gwen Samuel. I don't negotiate real people, and there's no rhetoric. So if you want foolishness, you got to talk to someone else. But if you want to talk facts, talk to me.
Listen, I will make sure that everybody has a link to that. Wow. Gwen Samuel, Shakia Dickerson, I got to thank you both. This has been an honor. This has been, my wife tells me, she's like, when you say something's going to happen, it always turns out to be bigger than I thought. This has absolutely been amazing. Gwen, you have my support. You're going to get a lot of it. I want you back. Please
Thank
come
you for
back.
that. Yes.
I'm going to try my best to make you as regular to this program as possible. Because I think you're a force to be reckoned with. I do want to say this. I understand there's a video out there by Jonathan DeBarros. You mentioned him, that he wants me to moderate a debate against other people who are running in District 5, in the 5th District. I may consider it.
Fair enough, John.
And
Can you
I
hear
may
that?
even go so far as to hold it here, right here in this studio. If they want to, maybe I will do it.
I'm going to be here. Wherever they are,
Okay,
I will be.
I'm just letting everybody know, because I know there are a couple of people in the 5th District who have reached out to me, and they're following my page. So this looks like that it could happen, but we'll have to figure it out sometime. Michael A. says, thank you. Melody says, great show again. Love the interviews and the guests. Thank you. I don't even do guests that much, Gwen. I don't.
Well, I'm honored. Thank everyone for listening.
And sorry, Shakir, did you want to say something before we get out of here? Just so you say, and I want everybody to support you. Where is the petition that you wrote? So that everybody can visit. Is that change.org?
You'll put it on your page. Tell me your Facebook page.
My Facebook page is Shakia Dickerson, and I'll put it on my page.
Okay, so is it a change.org
Yes, it's
petition?
change.org.
Okay,
and it's also on my page as well.
Okay,
so
so change.org, and it is it talk of? Do you remember the title of the petition? It's just related to Matt Lesser, right?
Yes.
His name is on there. Okay.
Yep.
So go to
just Google Matt Lesser.
Matt Lesser.
It will pop up.
So yeah, change.org. Matt Lesser is the subject of the change.org petition.
Yes.
We will get people to sign that right now.
Yes,
Okay.
please
So
sign
please
it.
pay attention that Shakia Dickerson is the author of that. So make sure you support her. Support my guests. They are here.
Thank you.
And they're doing good works. They are great people. I wouldn't have them here if they were not. So ladies, thank you so much for being here. I really
so
do.
much.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
As I always say, ladies and gentlemen, radio is free. So we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 o'clock. No Red Sox game, so we'll be back on our regularly scheduled time. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home, and he's always here, or at least most of the time. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Get out of here.
Have a good night, Reese. You guys are having too much fun in there. I'm jealous. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report is being brought to you by